So I want to start this one off by saying, yes, Michael Bradley, I know. I'm always running my mouth in the green room and I never start this on time, and I apologize.
Yeah. We both just got home. I just had to stuff my face with the food my dad made. I've been kayak fishing all day.
You know, this time of year, so what's your water temps down there?
I didn't even have electronics. Coldish. If you just put your water out, it's kind of cold.
Yeah. So it was really weird. The first lake that I fished on Sunday was 41. Now, granted, we just got 2 weeks in a row where we got like 16 inches of snow. So that just dropped the water temp like crazy. And then the second lake, which is really weird and I don't understand it. So the second lake that I fished was 48. Now, granted, it's a smaller body of water, but like the area I was fishing in was 3 to 5 feet of water for a good, pretty big area. So like it should have been roughly the same, but 7 degrees. Like that's actually something that I said in one of my videos that you guys won't get to see until May because it's a lake that I'm going to be fishing in a tournament. I don't want to give out any secrets. But one of the things I did say in that, which is crazy, is this time of year, 3 degrees makes a difference. July, 3 degrees don't mean shit. But like from here, like the difference between whether they're spawning or whether they're eating and active or dormant is 5 degrees.
Yeah, 100%.
You've actually been on them better than I have because I've only caught open water fishing. I think I've caught 4 largemouth.
That was my warm up this morning.
Yeah,
I have at least over 10 today. I might have like 15 or more. That's a lot, but I was doinking them today, but it was mostly all pickerel. But that's why I went to that lake, is because it's stained water, so it looks like iced tea, which is great. A lot of submerged brush, stumps, that type of stuff, and lily pads that are starting, and they always hold fish. So I was like, if I can get largemouth, that's great. But I also want to get on this pickerel game because we're doing the tournament, and I'm like, I need to get some stuff on the board. So.
That tournament, now you didn't do it before, right?
This is my first ever tournament, period.
I want your opinion on this.
God.
This tournament fucks with your head.
Uh-huh.
This is the first like tournament that I've ever been like pissed off that I lost a pickerel or a pike.
Yeah.
Or shook a bluegill and get mad. Like any other time, I'm like, God damn it, it's a bluegill. And now I'm like, fuck, I lost that bluegill.
I'm dumb because our bluegill on the list.
Yep.
I had.
Well, how was it though? Because I think there's an 8-inch minimum.
Okay, but the ones I caught 2 today that were like the size of my head. But I was just like, okay, let him go. Here's the other thing. Like, I've never liked. Okay, fun fact about Janelle. I never would touch my fish until I was like 18. I would use a glove to like lip fish, or before I would make my dad or my brother do it. And then I would go back and forth between like a grip and like every once in a while, like I don't have a problem, but it still like freaks me out, and like I don't want to get like spiked by a fish. So today when I was trying to figure out how to like lay my fish down and take my picture, I was like, why do people do this with their hands?
And the thing is like perch are bastards.
I know.
They arch their body. Like they refuse to lay flat.
They're like,
it's like they're just pissed and they will not lay flat no matter what you do.
Yep.
They're smallmouth are worse. Smallmouth are
really?
I don't know if you've put a smallmouth on a board. Smallmouth will contort their freaking body to get off of that measuring board. I've had bass that I'm holding and I have, man paw, right? And I'm pinning this fish down and I've had fish like jump out, like out from under my hand. Like the one thing I will recommend is when you're measuring a fish, put your net horizontal so that they jump into the net. If you don't do it, you will regret it. The funniest perch catch I ever had was one under my seat in my old town. I caught it. It was actually the lake I fished on Sunday. I caught a perch, and I had been trying for like 3 days to catch a freaking perch, and I could not get one for some reason. I even went old school bobber worm, and I was getting
Yep.
bluegill, but I couldn't get perch, right?
Yep.
So I finally hook a perch. I have it in my hand. It's not even that big, and it slips out of my hand and gets under my seat in my kayak. So then I literally flood my own kayak to give him oxygen and then bust ass to the shore because I can't get under my seat while I'm sitting in my
Yeah.
kayak. So then I bust into shore and get underneath my kayak to measure this fish, not even realizing that there's people on the dock watching this fucking show go on. And they see this fat ass guy fly into the dock with a kayak,
For
jump out of his kayak, grab a 7-inch perch out from under his seat, and measure it on the ramp, excited. And they're like, "What is wrong with this fool?" Like,
yeah. That's so like I mean, I'm new to the tournament thing, and today was like my first day on the water with the measuring board, like doing it.
yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. Like, I have a competitive nature, but like it was pissing me off today. Like, no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I got spiked by a bass for the first time in my life, bank fishing, putting him on the board. I was like, okay, buddy, we're just gonna. And he went, and I was like, ow.
Yeah.
How dare you betray me? I was like,
the thing for me that what the Jigs and Bigs did for me was I got really complacent with where I fish. So like I have a couple of lakes that you know about that I fish near my house, and like I can catch bass kind of at will. Like even when we had 16 inches of snow, I went out there the following day and caught some largemouth. Like it's not a guarantee. I've definitely blanked, but it's very rare that I blank on this body of water.
yeah.
So like, and then there's another body of water not very far from it that I can also catch fish on, but they don't have pickerel. I believe they have crappie, but they don't have trout. They don't have a lot of the species. So then what that does is it forces me to go to another lake that has those species. So that's the way I look at it. Is I don't look at it like where I'm in a place. I look at it as like a self accomplishment of learning these other species because I don't know how to catch trout. Any trout I've ever caught has been completely by accident.
No, I can like bottom fish for trout, like old school with the Y stick.
Yep.
Set it up, pull the bobber down, and like watch. It's also how I fish for catfish. I don't look at it like, oh my god, I need to be on the top. I look at it as, okay, I'm on this. I paid to be in a tournament. Very exciting. Like I want to see where I want to see what I can do, how I can perform. But like mostly, it's like, oh, I love multi-species, so it just gets me excited to actually go out with a purpose to go chase these species. So I'm not like, I need to be like, he is number one, I have to be number one. Like, no, it just gets me excited and gives me more of a reason and motivation to get out there. And then there is a little bit of a competitiveness that I'm like, oh, like I like this, but I don't know yet. But wait, like day one into it.
Well, the problem is you're a lot like me too. Is it's like when you get closer to the end of the month and you don't have a bluegill, it's gonna piss you off. It's gonna eat at you because that's what happened to me. Is it was like you've never been more frustrated at like not catching fish that you normally don't give a shit about catching. Like it's not like because it's not bass. Like bass are like, oh, I caught a bass, even if it's a 10-incher. It's like cool, I caught a bass. But you catch like a 4-inch perch and you're like, it's a perch. Like I feel like I wasted my cast because now I got to get you off my hook and then I got to get back out to try to get a bass. But then like the longer you do it, the thing that I like about it, like I said, is that it gives you that like muscle memory of measuring fish so that when you do want to do a bigger kayak like bass tournament, you get those reps in. Because I will tell you right now, I am fishing Wednesday with this guy and I am literally measuring every fish, and I'm trying to get in the habit of measuring every fish for my documentation, and I forget a lot. But there's little things that like you get out of the habit, and then when you're in a tournament when it really counts, and you don't put your net up, or you don't have the right stuff set up in the right order, or you don't mentally do it, and then all of a sudden that fish jumps the board, and you're like, I could have won the tournament if this fish hadn't fallen off.
Yeah.
And it's just like this whole like brain that you have to like reset. Tournaments are different. Like The thing about the jigs and bigs that's nice is it's not on a time limit. When you do a live tournament and you're on a
Oh God,
time
no.
limit,
God,
it's
no.
brutal.
That'll mess with my head way too much. That's why when I heard about the tournament and whatever, and then I was on Bobby's show, and he was like telling me I should do it. I was like, I think I actually am gonna do it. This seems
Yeah.
like the best way to like wet your feet and like get into it.
Yep.
But it's still on your own terms, and it's still so open that there's so many different species and
Well, and
levels to it that keeps it fun.
the beauty of it for you is that you're not a. I'm gonna say this and it's gonna sound offensive, but it's not what it
Oh,
sounds like. You're not a bass angler. You're just an angler, and it
I'm the
sounds
most.
offensive.
Oh,
You're not. What I mean is you're not exclusively targeting bass for the most part. You target a lot of different stuff. You do surf fishing. You will catch trout. You know what I mean? Like you're not looking at just. You're not like I am, where 99% of the time
yeah,
I am targeting bass.
yeah, I got you.
You're like, there's trout in here. I'm going to try to catch a trout. Whereas I never did that before. Like I
Yeah,
literally don't. Before this tournament, I didn't try to catch bluegill. I didn't try to catch perch. I didn't give a shit about. That's why I didn't ice fish, because it's predominantly perch and like
yeah.
crappie and panfish, and I don't give a shit about catching. Like Bear gives me shit all the time because he's like, dude, you just caught like a jumbo and you didn't even react. And I'm like, yeah, because I grew up catching 30-pound king salmon.
Yeah, yeah.
The
This
fish that
doesn't
I
bother me.
used to catch as a kid were what we would use for bait is what we're catching now. Like this isn't like
Right.
it's not as exciting for me. But then when you do this tournament, it makes a perch exciting. It makes a
Yeah.
pike exciting. Or
Mhm.
you catch a rainbow. It's like, yeah, it's pretty, but I don't really care. But then now it's like, oh, this
Yeah.
actually means something now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. Trout opened up a couple days ago on the 8th. I don't
See,
even
you gave me a face, but you know when trout season opens. That just tells you that you're not exclusively a bass angler. Because I
You want
have
it?
no goddamn clue when trout season
Okay,
opens.
but we can't fish our lakes because they're stocked with trout. Like I can't fish a bass lake because it's stocked with trout.
You
Like
can't?
it's no.
Really? That sucks.
Yeah,
See,
so
like
that's why.
we have trout season, but you just can't target trout.
Nope, you can't. You literally can't
Can't
fish
fish
that
that.
body of water at all
God,
until the season opens. So, and usually it's like April 8th, which ironically is what it was today or what it was this year. But yeah, no, you're not allowed. So, the
that's
only
crazy.
reason like yeah, there's like that one spot that I can fish from the bank cuz it's like this like back spillway that like nobody really I mean, people
Yep.
fish there, but that doesn't the main lake gets stocked and then there's a dam that falls down, so nobody gives a shit about that part.
Gotcha.
But other than that, no, I can't we can't fish here in any of the lakes that are stocked, which is mostly all of them, until opening day of drought.
See, that's crazy because the only lake that happens on that I'm aware of is Dunmore. And it's weird, they only close half the lake. It's really odd. So, like the north end of the lake, you can't fish during trout season. Like when it's outside of trout season, it's not open
They
yet.
they give
But
the
you can ice fish it. That's what's really fucked up about it. So you can ice fish that end of the lake right up until basically April 1st. And then I don't even know when trout season opens, but you then can't fish from that day till trout season's open on that half of the lake. That's why I don't keep track of it, because it's like it's too much goddamn math. Like I'm like
yeah
I don't want to
yeah
have to deal
see
with it.
yeah. So mine is very black and white. Oh, the trout have been stocked. No fishing until it's
Gotcha.
legal to catch them.
See, here it's fucking stupid because there's guys like literally watching. There's guys sitting there with their rods and reels waiting for the truck to leave to catch them.
Yep, yep.
It's dumb.
The truck gives the fish a pep talk. Listen, guys, you're safe on this half of the
It's
lake. You're
And
not
some of
safe
these
on that
lakes,
part.
it's so freaking funny because there's the like Bobby says, the white bucket brigade sitting there with their fucking power bait because that's what they're used to eating at the
Mm-hmm.
hatchery, and they're just waiting for it's like they're cleaning them out before they even get a chance to be in the lake.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I see that brings me to like the whole like fish conservation part of things. Like I took 6 bluegill this big out of the lake yesterday, and I felt so guilty because I'm a catch and release person,
yeah,
but I want to target catfish this year, and like I know that's going to be some good bait. And like the lakes, the 2 lakes that I would go to catch the bluegill for bait are so overpopulated. They don't get bigger than this. Like it's
Right.
stunted because there's too many. But there was a lady there who bird watches. She's a little cuckoo cachoo. Because she literally kept like asking me the same questions over and over. But like she was watching me do it, and that just made me feel like this was wrong, even though it's
Yeah.
perfectly fine. But yeah, like I took 6 and got them for bait for next week. But yeah, I feel weird about it because I don't like keeping fish.
Now, how are you? Are you like keeping like kill freeze, keeping them alive, or what are you doing with them?
Kill freeze.
Okay.
Kill freeze.
So I know some people will like take them, put them in a fish tank with an aerator, and then like use them as live bait. Because
My
we
uncle
used to do it with bullhead.
Oh really?
So we used to go catch, like, what we would do is one of the lakes. It's actually Champlain. It's actually by the Champlain Bridge to Crown Point. There's a spot that has a lot of bullhead catfish carp, right? But they only really bite later, like at dark, like typical catfish. Like they
Yeah.
start to bite when it gets to be evening. But during the day, you'll catch a lot of small perch. So what we would do, it's really kind of morbid, is we would catch a bunch of perch and just throw them on the bank and let them bake in the sun so they get real smelly and nasty. We
Yep.
would kill them. I mean, we would like knock them in the head and throw them on the
Yeah.
shore. But then we would just leave them on the shore, and then we would cut them and chunk them, chum the water, and then use the chunks of perch as bait to catch
Yep.
catfish later. So it's kind of like you said, it's kind of wasteful in a way,
Yeah, in a way.
but we
But you
are
know
putting
what?
it back in the lake, so it's technically feeding fish.
Something will eat that. Like something will. But like I'm talking about the guys that literally like all ice season long, there's no limit, there's no
Like,
nothing, are just every fish they catch.
I
They're
got into an
keeping it.
argument on Facebook about that.
You're ruining you're just ruining it. Like that's not
It's
okay in
so
my
funny that
eyes. I don't care if
it's
that's
so
the
funny
law
that
or
you
not.
say that, because I got into an actual argument in a Facebook group about that. So
Oh
here it's legal
snap.
to sell them,
So what?
birch fillets.
They're that
People turn
big.
it into a fucking business. Well, here we can
Oh.
we can
Yeah,
catch
no, you
jumbos
can.
here, but
You can. I've
um,
seen some decent ones.
so
Damn.
literally, guys on Facebook groups will put a post up saying looking to buy a bucket of fillets. They sell it by the bucket, and I was like, why? Just go catch them. And
Why is
then
that
like this guy went on this tirade about, like, literally I honestly got to the point where I didn't even care. I was just arguing with him because it was fun and I was bored. But like he was like bitching, and he's like, well, I don't understand why, you have to complain about it. And I'm like, because you're literally taking the food source for sport fish and making a profit on it. And then like I got like kind of visceral, and I was like, and I bet you don't claim any of that on your taxes, and you're sitting here arguing on the internet about the money
Yeah,
that
right.
you're making from a sport fish. Because see, the state of Vermont's looking to crack down on some of that shit, because like all winter long, guys literally go ice fishing to make a profit. They're
Hmm.
not even doing it for the sport of it; they're doing it for the profit. And to be honest, there is certain lakes, and I will say this right now: Lake Champlain, I don't give a shit. There is so many alewives and so many perch in that lake.
That's
You
true. That's
can't
true.
fuck up the population in that lake. It is
That's true.
so full that I don't care. But they're doing this on like 80-acre ponds. They're doing this on like 200-acre ponds, and they're taking jumbos out of there. So they're taking, 12, 14-inch perch out of there to fillet them and sell them. And they don't have to pay for any type of commercial license. They don't have
Damn.
to have a permit. The bait guy that sold them the bait that they're using to catch the perch has to get a fucking permit to sell bait to them, but they don't have to have a permit to sell the fillets from the perch
Wow.
that they caught. So that's why I got into that argument. And this guy kept going off and off and off. And then I was like, dude, I literally stopped. He like started going like all over the deep end, and I just stopped him. And I'm like, dude, are you mad? Because honestly, I stopped caring about this conversation 20 minutes ago. I'm just happy that I ruined your day. And then that was the end of the post.
Yeah, there's so much more that can be done to make it better in every state. Like,
Yeah.
like right now, I mean, Texas's program, they're number 1 right now in the largemouth game. Like their genetics, what their program, whatever they're doing, they're number 1, and it's for good reason. I feel like everyone else should be uh paying attention and like taking notes. But yeah, I'm just not about it. I've always been a catch release. Like even the trout, like I can eat a trout. It doesn't really bother me. I'm not a huge fish fan.
Right.
Every once in a while in Vermont, if we catch like a big pike or like the first walleye I caught was like 8 pounds or something like that. 5, 8 might be pushing it. It might have been like 5 or it was big. We ate it because it was like, oh my god, like fish of a lifetime. It was during COVID, so we were lucky to even get up to Vermont. We actually went to New York that year, and then would drive the boat all the way over. So like that was a big deal. But I've just always been like a catch and release person.
Which is an interesting stance to take from enthusiast, adventurer, outdoors, survival.
I know.
Like, you would think you would be all about the catch cook, but
no, I have a very hard time with it. That's why, like, I'll go and I have a lot of those videos where, like, I would start doing it, and then I would catch the fish, and I would look at it and be like,
"Yeah, I'm not gonna eat you." Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna go back. I can go home, or I have food. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need.
Well, what's crazy is, did you
this.
see? I don't know if you looked at the stuff last year. You probably didn't because you only fished Vermont like basically in May, right? You don't really come back after. So after that flood that we got, they basically there's actually on the Fish and Game website. It's like the recommended portions of fish to eat that you won't get like poisoned basically because of the PCBs and the fucking heavy metals and all of that, right? So they literally put everything on 0 after that flood.
Oh, wow.
Like perch was pretty much the only thing that they recommended that you could eat because there was so much junk in the water that the like mercury levels and everything were through the roof.
Yeah. I would have just put everything on 0. I would have even put perch on 0.
Like bass, it's like 4 ounces a month. It's not even worth it's like half of a fillet of a 3-pounder.
It's like the cheek. It's like cheek meat.
Yeah, like you literally get like 3 chicken nuggets and then you've hit your monthly quota. Like, why would you even bother to like do it?
Yeah.
I have a coworker that every time I catch a fish, I'm like, yeah, I caught some this weekend. Chick, did you eat them? And I'm like, no, I didn't eat them.
I hate that question.
The thing is it's funny because I do want to do it. I want to do a catch cook video. Honestly, if I do, it probably would be with you. To be honest,
100%.
That might be my first catch cook video. Is like when we do a collaboration, we do it. Mm-hmm. But like, I just never. If I do it, it's going to be because I'm camping out. Like I'm doing a camp, and I'm doing this for food.
Yeah.
And I'm going to literally catch it, throw it in the back of my kayak, and I'm going to bring it to shore, fillet it, throw it on the cooler, fish the rest of the day, cook it that night, and eat it. Like, it's not something I'm going to bring home and prepare and have. Like, it's just going to be, it's probably not even going to be the main meal. It's going to be one fish, and it's going to be just like, we're having this, and if we're still hungry, we've got hot dogs in the cooler. I don't care. But like,
fish and rice, like that's all. I think the other part of it too is like the water near me is not clean. I live near. I have the Delaware River. Don't fucking eat anything out of the Delaware River.
Your state literally has the lake that has the record for the highest pollution level.
Yeah. So like when I say that I'm always been a catch and release person, it's because I could literally die. Like I've seen the nastiness that these fish come out of, and I wouldn't do it. The only reason that we keep the trout is because they're stockers, and they're mostly gonna die. And actually, the last couple of years, I just let them go. Or if there's somebody else fishing for trout, I'll be like, "Hey, bud, do you want these trout?" Like, you don't want them? I'm like, "No, I enjoy catching them and letting them go." Like,
yeah.
But I don't have clean waters for that. But if I did, I bet money I'd be out there catching catfish and crappie and all that stuff.
And that's my problem. And that was my argument with that perch guy. Okay, here's the deal. And I'll go is even in the hunting world. If you're jacking a deer, if you're spotlighting a deer because you're so poor that you can't feed your family, and you're killing that animal and you're eating every piece that you can to feed your family because you're that poor that you can't get meat any other way. I will help you gut that deer. I will help you hide it. I will help you drag it out of the woods. If you're catching a bucket full of perch because your 5-year-old is starving, again, we'll give you all the fish that I catch that day. But if you're selling them to make a profit,
and you're just mercilessly killing,
you're just doing it because you want to, That's where I draw the line. And the other thing is, like, and this is where I got into the argument with that guy was I was like, this guy's like, because they were like asking like, how much do you charge? Like one guy in the middle of the conversation, like we're arguing back and forth, and this guy's like, how much do you charge for fillets? Like it's fucking dumbass. Like
Oh
just
God.
disregards the conversation altogether. And I was like, too much. And he's like, perch. He's like, it's expensive. I'm like, you can catch a perch with a piece of fucking string and a night crawler you dug out of your backyard. You don't
Yeah.
need. And he's like, well, the guy literally put on this thing, propane and wine and the shanty. And I'm like, you don't need all that shit. That's just luxury that you want to.
Yeah.
Like, you can catch a perch on. You could rip a string out of your shirt, tie it
Hand
to a
line.
fucking hook, and handline that thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're the dumbest, most aggressive fish on the planet.
Go to Walmart and buy like the Ozark Trail spools of mono for like 95 cents. Buy the pack of hooks for like 95
$1.
cents.
Yeah.
Yep. Some weights. And you can dig up your own bait, or you can literally go to the fridge, and buy night crawlers. Done.
You could literally with a perch, you could probably grab like yesterday's dinner and put it on the hook. They don't give a shit if it smells bad. Then they're gonna eat it. Like I've caught perch on like shit that you shouldn't catch perch on. Like I mean,
But
I've
you can't
hooked a
catch
piece of my
crappie.
sandwich one time and caught a fucking perch. Like they don't care.
Idiot.
They're not smart enough to. As a matter of fact, I think perch are cannibals, anyways.
Probably. I feel
You
like
ever
all
notice
fish.
like the
I
number
feel like all
one,
fish kind of are.
but like you ever notice like the number one color you catch perch on is chartreuse? Well, that's their color.
Yeah, that's you, my guy.
That's you. Like you're just eating
That's
you.
you.
You're so dumb.
You're
You
just-
probably eat your son and you don't even know it. Like it's
I don't think they really give a shit about any
no,
of
they
that.
really don't. What's funny is like the spawn. If you actually look at the biology of like bass and all that,
Mhm.
it's actually the most vicious. Like that's where I get pissed about like people that cook like 5-pounders and stuff like that.
Oh
It's
God,
like
no.
the amount of time it takes that fish to get to that age and what that fish had to overcome to get to that size.
There should more or less be a law against that. Like just
Certain
like in
size,
salt
yeah.
water, like you have a slot. There should be that in fucking fresh water.
Yeah.
Especially with bass.
Yeah.
Especially like
Because it's crazy when you look at the life cycle of it. Like pike, I think pike and like that. I don't know what that fucking general species is. Like pike and muskie and all that are in
I don't
that.
know.
I call it the slime dart category. I
The
don't really know what the hell.
muskellunge.
So those fish spawn first, right? Then bluegill, then bass. So what happens is the pike spawn early, the bluegill eat the pike eggs,
Mhm.
and then the bluegill come in and they spawn. And if you ever noticed, the bluegill will spawn on the fucking bass beds.
Oh yeah.
Like the beds that the bass made last year.
I'm like, thanks, guys.
So then the pike, the bass eat the freaking pike and they eat the freaking bluegill, and then when their turn to spawn, they come in and the fucking bluegill hang out and eat their eggs. So it's like everybody's trying to eat each other's eggs before they even get hatched.
Yep.
That's why I get pissed about these spawning tournaments and like everybody's like, oh well, you're not hurting the fish when you take them out of the water, and I'm like, yeah, but that 15 seconds that fish was out of the water, if they'd already laid their eggs and that was the male guarding the nest, that could have been 1,000 babies that bluegill ran in there and mowed through while you were taking your photo of that bass that you spawned.
Right. Or if you stressed out that female too much, she'll retreat.
She won't drop. Yep.
She won't even drop nothing. That whole year is dead to her. Yeah, it's. I don't like bed fishing. I understand the allure of it. I do. But for me, that's nature's time to reproduce and to repopulate and like do their thing. So like I'm fine, early spring when everyone's feeding up and all, but once they really hit the beds, I'm like, all right, like, let them go. Especially because of where I live. Like, yes, there are healthy bodies of water, but like we don't get, like we have 5-pounders plus, but it's rare to come across them. Like you get 2s and 3s, and I'm like, oh, that's such a good fish. People are like, what? And I'm like, yeah.
Funny. It's so funny when you think regionally because
yeah,
I'm spoiled in Vermont. I'll
Oh,
admit it.
dude, fuck you.
Like,
You're so
our fish,
spoiled.
our
You're
fish
so.
is stupid. Like we'll get, and the thing is, people like call me out on my channel all the time
Mhm.
because I'll be like, yeah, that's a 5 pounder, and they're like, that fish is only 18 inches, and I'm like, that doesn't mean it can't be a 5 pounder.
That's true, yeah.
Like they're built different up
They're-
here. Like we'll get
yeah.
five. I've already caught a 5 pounder this year. It was 18 and a half inches. Now it's probably a female, and it was probably 2.5 pounds of that was probably eggs.
Yeah.
But the fact is, like, fish up here are different. But like when you watch, like, it's not you're not that far from me.
I'm not. I'm not.
And
8 hours.
the difference between a New Jersey big fish and a Vermont big fish is
Yeah.
significant. And then you go to Massachusetts. Like when I went to Massachusetts and did tournaments, like people were like, "Oh my god, dude, I got a 17 incher! I'm so excited!" And I'm like, "Dude, I have a fucking lake 20 minutes from my house that I can catch 17 inchers all day."
Yeah.
They're not like they're 2 pounders because they're
Right.
skinny and long, but like that's the thing that I always get confused about is like sometimes the state next to you doesn't have the fish quality, and that's what makes me so pissed about Vermont is that they don't give a shit about the bass at all here. It's all about the trout. And what aggravates me about that is like you guys do realize how big of an industry bass fishing is and how much
Yeah.
stupid fucking money we spend on plastic and
Mm-hmm.
shit that you get a duty tax on that you don't even invest any money in it. You invest money in a species of fish that literally is going to die because
Yep.
the lake that you stock it in get over 65 degrees and they die.
Dunzo.
Like you're
Yeah.
spending millions of dollars to yes, granted, I understand the logic of stocking fish is to feed people.
Yes.
That's
I
the reason.
support that. 100%.
But there is so many lakes here in Vermont, and I'm sure you have the same problem, that are so overrun with bass that when they stock them with the trout, they're just feeding the fucking bass.
Yeah.
So you're wasting my tax dollars to feed bass, which I'm fine with because I catch them. But I'm
Yeah.
like, there's much better. Like, you could fix the shitty ass ramp that I launched in with that money
Yeah.
because there's so many places here where our boat ramps are like bad. Like there are some that have been updated recently, but there are some boat ramps that like the locals will sit and watch people who aren't locals launch their boats because they don't know the fact that you have to launch your boat at a 37-degree angle because if you launch it at a 38-degree angle, you're going to drop your tire into a hole that's been there for 15 years and your boat's just going to disappear.
Yeah.
And it just that's the kind of stuff that like and the conservation thing, I will say, I've done a lot of research and I have some friends that are biologists that have like give me some information. It actually is important to kill some bass,
100%.
but
Mm-hmm.
not 5 pounders.
No, 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 no. You need
Leave
to.
them in there.
You
Get the
gotta.
13
The
inchers.
Yeah, they gotta go because if they have, yeah, they'll kill. Yeah, they'll kill a population. They'll fuck the whole thing up. Yeah. No, you're not wrong. There's pros and cons to all of it. So like if you look into like building your own pond, everyone's like, "Oh, I want the bass to be the highest predator in the food chain." Well, it's like, no, you don't, because you need a predator above that to clean out, take care of the in-betweeners, and then give that bass also motivation to
Yep.
feed. You know what I mean? To grow, to get bigger, to get, stronger, whatever. You need levels of the food chain. So
That's where we're lucky is like a lot of the lakes that we have here, we have northerns in.
I
And a
would
bass fishing
love a northern.
like a
It's on my
bass
list.
oh
Yeah.
it yeah.
Northerns are on my list from the kayak this year. Like I want to catch a big pike on the kayak.
Hey.
Okay, cool.
Whenever you matter of fact, anytime you come up to collaborate. If you guys don't know, Janelle gets sick of me a lot and just starts telling me to stop talking to her because she's busy.
Mm-hmm.
But talk a lot and there's a lot of collaboration stuff that's in the plans. But I have a lake that I can almost guarantee you'll catch a pike on in the summertime.
I'm ready.
And honestly, it's like Whopper Ploppers is like one of the easiest,
I wanted to get one on a duck so bad.
funnest way.
Get one on a duck.
It's cool because I've got a lot of videos where like if you have a camera behind you, you see them
Oh.
shoot in like a torpedo
Yeah.
because they fucking love Whopper Ploppers. I don't
They
know
know
why,
it.
but they just destroy those things. Chatterbaits too,
Like a
which
bird. I love chatterbait. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
ready
and it's
for it.
literally like 5-minute pedal from the ramp.
Heyo.
I can.
Hey.
Yeah,
I'm
they're.
ready.
A matter of fact, I caught one on a fucking 5-inch trace swim bait. It's poured into water.
Oh, God. The biggest one I ever caught was on the drop shot.
Yeah.
The biggest pike I ever caught was in the trees, on the drop shot, in the very corner, the hard corner of the mouth.
Yep.
It was a gorgeous fish. It had like lamprey marks on the side of it too. Like it had big. Champlain has lampreys. It has.
Oh, big lampreys.
Yeah, I've never seen them, but like yeah, this fish had like two big, like almost as big as like this, circles on it. It's on my Instagram somewhere.
Facebook cover photo. That was on a fucking Kitech Easy Shiner, 4-inch Kitech Shiner.
One of my favorites.
Like,
I was throwing 3-inch ones today. I was throwing the 3s.
They'll eat anything. Like pike don't give a shit what it is. They just want to kill anything that moves.
Yep, love it. I love it. So same thing with pickerel. Anything a little gold or a little shiny. Oh my god.
Well, we got a lake near me that's got hybrids.
What? Okay, time out. Time out. What? That's a thing?
Hybrid pickerel pike, yep.
How big do they get? Are they like a weird...
They're like a pike size with a pickerel face. It's the fucking weirdest thing you'll ever see.
Oh, I want that. That's what I want.
It is the weirdest fish. I caught one and I was like, I was like, what the fuck is this thing?
Yeah.
Because it was like built slender like a pickerel, but he's got the like the gator face,
gills. Yeah,
but the eyes of a pickerel, like, and the pattern on the side of it is fucking cool. Like, apparently they can hybridize in certain situations, and like
they've
done that.
It's like a tiger trout, which is a mix of.
It's similar to
on my bucket list.
Tiger trout is brook and brown, I think.
They're freaking awesome. I want some sort of artwork of a tiger trout in here, but I also feel like I might have to catch one in order to put it in the bus, because once the bus is done, everything is like a rite of passage. So like the ceiling, I want to cover in all license plates.
Okay.
Which is gonna look badass. But I'm knowing me, I'm gonna want to do it in order, like start from the beginning, and then go back and forth.
Well, I have a Vermont one for you, so let me know when you come down, because I got one hanging in my mudroom that's just there because it was. Yeah.
Anybody in the chat who has old license plates, hit me up.
But yeah, no, I know it'd be actually cool is in that ceiling montage thing, you could do like if you catch like a bass in each state, like have a photo and like have it like a collage kind of deal.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna run out of license plates in real estate. So another thought I had was like movies, like some of my favorite movies from growing up.
Yep.
And like just like cut the surface off. I thought about making a mold for like an acrylic, like same size as a license plate. And then finding like old DVDs and stuff like in Goodwills, and then like taking the sleeve off and like putting it in there. Because you know me, I have to do like extra work.
Yeah.
But it has to kind of fit that mold. I don't know yet. Everything to me has to have some sort of stupid sentimental value and meaning behind it.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, though, like if you really take the time to make the bus special, let's be honest, you're going to be away from home. You're going to be by yourself in the woods. It will be kind of nice to like look up and see, something that reminds you of home or reminds you of a good time or whatever. Like, because let's be honest, it's going to get boring on the road at some point. You're going to be like, especially if you have a day, where you have a shitty day of fishing or a shitty day of content creation, and then you're just like by yourself on the bus.
Yeah.
In the middle of fucking banjo country somewhere. And so
I got my fishing rod holder above me. Where can you see it?
It's funny because I keep bugging her about like the when we're gonna do collaborations, and I'm like, yeah, come up this weekend. Let's go fishing. She's like, I gotta like work and pay for stuff and bills. And
I can barely afford rent. Like I can barely afford my half of rent. Because I'm working part-time and I'm not getting the hours that I need. That's a whole other thing. I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, I can't just fucking drive 8 hours to you. I could drive to Missouri, but I can't drive to you.
That's a secret. You guys are going to learn about Missouri at some point.
Yeah. I can't tell you guys too much about it, but yeah.
You know what's funny is I have so many like little secrets that like all the YouTube people that I talk to,
Mm-hmm.
like Mike, I had Mikey Balls on last week, and
Oh,
he
sweet.
did a video about catching a 45-pound bag. I knew about that like 3 weeks ahead of time because I've been
Oh,
texting him.
God.
Yeah, 5 fish, 45 pounds. He's fishing in
What are they,
Florida,
like
mind you.
8-pounders?
Yeah, 7, 8 pounders. Yeah.
Jeez. Christmas.
Which is
I
funny because I will say you guys are funny too. Like so some of the people in the chat, I had some people that literally joined that live stream
Mhm.
specifically because I'd advertised that Mikey was going to be on.
Okay.
People don't like they're like, "Oh my god, how did you get Mikey to come on?" And I'm like, "I'm friends with Mikey. Like I text him all the time."
Yeah.
And they don't believe me. And then at the end of that pod, no joke, like some of my friends like think I was like kind of like blowing smoke, like, "Oh, he's only coming on because it's a podcast and he can promote his channel, right?"
Oh, yeah.
So at the end of that podcast, Mikey goes, "Yeah, and dude, don't forget, like anytime you want to come down, you have a spot at my house. We can go fishing, whatever." And like I got like 4 texts. They're like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I was talking to him about coming down and fishing. Like I'm planning on. I actually am thinking about going down there in the off season. Like I'm thinking about pulling my kayak out and
Yeah.
going down there in like February, March, because he's in Alabama. So like
Oh, yeah.
it's shitty weather, but it's not like here
But it's
shitty weather.
fishable. But it's fishable.
And he got caught. He actually the reason why me and him really started talking is he bought it. He got a Jackson Husa.
Oh, okay.
He got 2 of them from a Jackson deal. I don't know how it worked, but he was going to be getting into kayak content, and
Nice.
I was talking to him, and he'd been on my live stream, and he knew I kayak fish. So then he like texted me, he's like, "Dude, what do I need to get for accessories?" Kind of like me and you talked about with like
God.
other stuff, and I was like, "Dude, let me know." I'm like, just. I'm
Ends.
like, here's a link to this. Here's a link to this. Don't buy this. It's a waste of money. Try this. Get this.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
and it's crazy, but he hasn't been able to like do much with his kayak because dude's always in his boat. Like, and I
Yeah.
don't blame him. I mean, he's got a freaking
Yeah, I know. You got a boat. Who fucking
he's got
cares?
a night. You know what's funny though? It's actually you would think that, but I have a bass boat that I almost sold my boat.
You should. No, I don't know. I don't know your life. Like,
No, I seriously considered selling it because I love fishing from my kayak.
yeah.
But the boat does have its advantages when it's
Oh,
nasty out.
yeah.
Like if
Mm-hmm.
it's really really windy, or like I wouldn't fish Champlain from my kayak on a regular basis. Like I may go out if
No.
it's a really nice day, and you've seen
Uh-huh.
it. Like Champlain can get fucking nasty on a dime.
I've
Like
seen a
you can go
boat
out there.
roll under a dock, still
Yeah.
attached to it.
Yeah.
I've seen Champlain. Okay, so so we go every year in May, which is like the worst timing for softball when I was in high school because that's like when Tortum. What?
Some advice for you when you're traveling.
um, it might intrigue me. So the first year that I went to Champlain, first year.
I can
What?
just see you now. I can see the content creator in you. I just saw the wheels turning in your head. Everybody else hears that music while they're in a bus in the middle of the woods and they're freaking out. Janelle's grabbing the fucking light and the camera and the
Yeah.
boom mic, and she's like, "Let's go find him." She's like Steve Irwin style, gonna go
Oh my
find the
god.
banjo.
Rest in peace, my hero. Yeah. The first year we went to Vermont to fish Champlain in May, I had to miss softball. Now I was a freshman and they had started pulling me up to varsity because they were assholes. I should have just been pulled up to varsity to begin with. But they ruined our whole JV team because they would like pull players apart and then we started losing. So I was like, I'm going on a family trip. Sorry, I choose this over you guys. I'm your backup, like left and right fielder. Like it's not.
Right.
This isn't more important. We get there the first night. We fish a little bit. We're catching fish. And then we go to my dad's old teacher's house and we have dinner with him. And me and my brother are like, we should be back on the water. My dad's like, we'll have plenty of time. So that day is ruined. The rest of the week, it was too bad. Weather conditions were terrible. Talking about 3-4 footers, white caps. We didn't go on the water at all. Like we stayed, but we didn't fish.
The thing about Champlain that sucks too is like it could be like sunny and completely blue sky, and then a storm will blow through. And the problem with Champlain is that it doesn't have one direction of wave. It doesn't get like
Right.
swells like the ocean. It doesn't get like directional waves like bigger lakes do. And Champlain's a huge lake,
Oh,
but
huge.
the way the lake makes up, it gets like these multi-directional waves that there's just no good way to fish it, because if
No.
you're on it, you're fucked, because there's no
Yeah.
way to like, not comfortable, it's aggravating, and it's dangerous. And that's why I would never fish it in a kayak when it's rough, because I've been out there in a 20-foot boat and been like, I don't really like this.
Yeah.
And I
My
go to
dad.
Lake Ontario, like I go to big boy lakes,
Yeah.
and that bothers me. It's just
We
how
have
that lake is up.
we have what, a 17, 16 and a half something G3 aluminum
Yep,
V hull. Love that boat. It's what I want when we
yep,
whenever I decide to get a boat. Um and yeah, we've we've been on the water, and like it's been fucking sketchy. Even so, like way back in the 90s, early 90s, when my dad and my uncle used to go fishing on Champlain. They were the only people there that had a bass boat at the time. So you're talking everybody else is in their little rentals with their little
yep,
kickers.
yep.
They decide to go out when it's super wavy. Wavy, you know what I mean? And they're on the boat, and like they're crashing through waves. The boat comes up, and the nose goes down completely. And my
Mm,
dad's sitting there, and there's water up to here. And my dad's literally like, holy fuck. And Dave is
yep,
like, it's okay. And my dad's like grabbing all of the tackle boxes and things that are floating away. And Dave's like, it's all good. Don't worry, Frank. And my dad's like, what? And he's like, watch this. He flips all the switches because it was 100% buoyant.
yep,
Everything starts billowing out, and the boat starts rising out of the
yep,
water. And like, they were fine. And my dad was like, holy fucking shit. Like,
yep.
we've had friends, my uncle's two best friends, they got stuck on a boulder, and they were huddled up. The Coast Guard had to find them. They were huddled up, hypothermic, as everybody was back at the cabin drinking, not paying attention that they were missing. No cell phone service, no nothing, you know. Their boat got stuck, so they tried to get in the water and get it off. That didn't happen, so then they were just stuck on the rock. So like
Yeah.
I've heard some stories. Yeah, it's Champlain is like its own beautiful beast. So
It's the way it combines with the fact that Champlain's one of the only. It's actually technically a river because of the way it flows,
oh, that makes sense.
and it flows north, which is not standard. So because
Right.
it flows north, when you get a north wind, which is the most common wind in Vermont, because it
Yeah,
comes
it
out,
is.
the current is going against the wind, which creates
Crazy.
that weird like wake. And then like you fish up north where there's actually a lot more like, it's not mountainous, but it is like there's canyons and like different places where there's like
Yeah.
open with bays. Down here it's like a
Mhm.
wind tunnel, so
Oh
there's
no,
like
there's parts.
high
There's
shorelines that are like
yeah,
the wind just goes through down through there, and it's
yeah.
like Converse Bay, which is kind of, it's on, you basically can cross a ferry over into Plattsburgh is
Oh,
what
okay.
that is.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, that
Gotcha.
area is almost always windy. I don't give a shit what the weather conditions call for. There seems to always fucking be a wind there for some
Okay.
reason.
Nobody make fun of me for the fact that I can't. Okay.
She's got the claw.
I have on top of the fact that I have arthritis in my hands, I am so dehydrated today that I really don't have any grip. Holy
Is
crap.
that the hand you reel with?
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Oh
the
my god.
fucking repetitive motion, man.
Bro, I'm so wrecked right now. Like, and I was on the water, like, ow. I was still
So,
going.
okay, so this is something that's funny. Is like being an athlete in high school and like having muscle fatigue and everything from playing sports. And
Oh,
then now basically the only sport I do is fishing, right?
yep.
I'm actually sore after fishing for the first like probably month that I get back on the water. Like my
Yeah.
biceps, triceps, like you don't realize like it's just because you're not using those muscles. But like
Mm-hmm.
it's weird, like when you get to the end of the day and you're like you physically feel like you can't cast anymore because you're tired. And a lot of it honestly is probably dehydration and
Yeah,
like the fact
that's
that
what it
you're not
was.
eating, because like most people, like I, other than my boy bear fishing, most people don't pack a fucking 7-course meal when they go fishing. They just bring like a sandwich, maybe some chips and a soda that dehydrates the shit out of you for the caffeine.
Yeah, I
But
brought 2 body armors today, 2 water bottles. I drank 1 body armor, which I should have drank all this strawberry banana. Yes! This is like Soraya's favorite.
That's actually a good flavor, yeah.
My favorite is the yellow one. So like the pineapple coconut is delicious. Or the like the blueberry one. That's also like my number one. But this one's quality.
Yeah.
Please sponsor me. I would
see what
die.
I started doing is I actually started buying the watermelon flavored liquid IVs.
I have a love-hate relationship with liquid IV.
So
it's the salty. It's anything that has electrolytes in it that has that weird salty aftertaste.
What I started doing, which is not necessarily productive, but it is, is so I'll take like a 40-ounce like water bottle, right? So I start out the day, that's got Celsius powder in it, like caffeine powder, right? Jeez, but I get watermelon flavored like caffeine powder. I drink half of it, top it back off with water, and then dump the liquid IV on top so that the caffeine powder offsets that weird. I know what you mean, that like weird taste it has.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen,
so then I do that so it hydrates. No, don't do what I do.
That's fucking terrible. Don't do that. No, I need to find. So I have like a 64-ounce, tumbler, and normally I'll fill that like halfway with ice, and then I'll do a liquid IV. I'll water the liquid IV down with.
If you water it down
and then
a
little bit of
Gatorade,
a little bit of Gatorade just to help balance it out, or like Pedialyte, like something. Well, Pedialyte also has that weird taste, but you know what I mean. Like I have to mix it a little bit with a little bit to give me the result that I like. I drank a good amount of liquids before I left today, but then like being on the water, like you're not paying attention to it. It really does, and being an athlete who, like I didn't play any sports throughout this winter, so like. We're talking about summer was the last time. Like I'm out of shape. Like I haven't done anything that I should be doing or keeping up with my body. And I know I'm young, but I'm gonna be 30, and I just feel like my whole body is like fuck you. Like I just feel like my whole body is taking a shit on me, and now I'm like ready to go do all these adventures, and my body's like, ha 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 ha. You think, you moron?
Yep. No, I had the same problem. See, the thing is, the only reason why I started doing the liquid IV, and what I'll do a lot of the times, and this is it's probably a TMI, but I don't care. So what I will do is I'll get like the smaller size Gatorade, right?
Yeah.
I'll drink half of it on the way to the lake.
Yep.
Top it off with water. Drink the rest of it because then I can pee in that bottle later. Being a man, I have that advantage.
I had to squat today.
Those bottles are like the best thing ever. You don't know how many times though I've gotten caught doing that in my kayak. It's like people come up to me and I'm like leaning forward, stuffing this thing up under my shorts, and then like pull this weird bottle out and dump it off the side of my kayak, and then I have somebody drive by me go, and I'm like, my bad.
Yeah, I
didn't want to have to go to shore.
I had to hide in a corner today and take a squat so I could go pee today. Here's the issue. I have, it's called a pee style, an incredible device for women who like want to stand up and pee. You hold it there, whatever. You literally use it to wipe.
Yep.
You just rinse it and you're good. But you still have to drop your pants pretty much halfway down your thigh.
Yep.
What? Like that doesn't help me at all. It's not incognito at all. Yeah. Oh, even on my dad's boat, the one time I used it, I had to like get on my knees. I was holding the motor like to stabilize me. I was like, Dad, don't look. He was like, trust me, I'm fucking not. And I'm like going, and I'm just like,
yep.
These things are flawed. It's not that company's fault. I would love to be sponsored by that company. I've been using their product for years.
You should invent a seat. You should invent a kayak seat.
I think it's the pants. I think
it is.
So
the pants suck,
there's a company that makes like ice fishing gear for women that has like the bottom pretty much opens up so that you can pee without having to take your
kind of like the old school long johns that used to be able to take like the whole bottom off.
Yepers. I need pants that I can like unzip that part, but then also my underwear has to do the same thing. So like I wear boxer briefs.
Here's the difference between every other fishing podcast and the Spawn podcast. Because
We'll get into it.
we just spent 8 minutes talking about how women pee when they're kayak fishing. So
Let's
there you go,
talk.
guys. You're
You know
gonna get
what?
information you did not get anywhere else.
I want more women to tell me how they do it. Because, like, when you're on a lake, like you're in the middle of the lake, what do? Because when we're on the boat, I have a bucket. Whatever. I sit on the bucket. Nobody even knows that I'm sitting on the bucket.
Most people have like a 2.5 gallon bucket in their boat. We used to use we had what worked really good actually was a kitty litter. The yellow kitty litter buckets.
The lid that
with
pops
the little
up?
flip up lid.
Quality item, Clark. Yep. That's a fucking quality item.
Yep.
Yeah. I buy that just for the bucket.
Yep.
So I was like, what kitty litter do you want? I'm like, the one with the bucket?
I got one in my boat for trash.
Yeah.
That's what I use it for, is for trash, because you can open it, close it. I got it bungeed in the corner so it won't blow away, and yeah, it's fucking ideal for that purpose. Right. But
we always had something in the minivan. Like I have no problem popping a squat wherever I need to, as long as I'm not mooning somebody. And if I am, better be my wife. But
well, that's the difference too. Like, is being a female, it's a different stigma. You have to be careful about it.
Yeah, and
if
also
somebody sees me and thinks I'm peeing, they're not gonna come over and try to peek.
Hold on, my dad doesn't know that I'm.
How you doing? She's not talking to herself. I promise you.
He said I'm not talking to myself. We have to get low.
Conversation with yourself.
Yeah, no, we have to get low. Like there's splashback. Like there's a whole fucking pool noodle in a bucket. Yes, that's literally. So I have a Cabela's bucket with a blue pool noodle. So comfortable. Yep. Soraya and I used it so much last year when we were on Champlain on the boat. Yep. But like on a kayak, it's so different. And I wish I need to talk to more female anglers, because like what do we do? Like getting off the boat is such a pain. Yeah. And sometimes it's people's property. Like,
yeah, where are you gonna go? There's a lot of lakes, like the lake I fished. There's no getting on shore. Like you're in someone's front yard.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting privacy. You're opening yourself up to a lawsuit. Like it's not a good situation.
And I think that's another reason why it's like I don't want to keep drinking liquids, because I know I'm gonna have to pee, and it's such a freaking hassle. And then I'm like, no, but I got off the water day and my head was pounding, and I was just like, this is so dumb.
What's crazy about dehydration too, like the thing I learned the hard way is like, and that's where you need some sort of electrolyte, because I had a day on the water and it was really fucked up. Like I fished all day and it was like 90-degree, high humidity, whatever.
Oh God, yeah.
And I was drinking water all day. Like I had like a half gallon of water that I had consumed that day. And I didn't even realize I was dehydrated until I got to the ramp.
Yep, it hits you.
I loaded my kayak, strapped my kayak down, passed out in my truck in the front seat of my truck, and didn't fucking remember doing any of it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I literally woke up with my head like with the freaking steering wheel dent on my forehead.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm gonna get up and go. I'm gonna pack my kayak up, and my kayak was like done.
Yeah.
Like in a fucking complete blackout condition. I had strapped my kayak, took all my rods down, took all my cameras off. Like, and when you do content creation, it's not just throw your kayak on the truck and go. You've got fucking 20 things you've got to pack before you hit the road. And I did all of it and then passed out in the front seat of my truck. And then I was like, yeah, I need to start taking electrolytes or something, because this could have been, I could have drove home like in that condition.
Pickle juice.
See, I don't like pickles. That's the problem. I hate that flavor.
Oh, you're an idiot, because pickles are the best food on planet fucking Earth. But like the kosher spears, like the original ones, the whatever with the bird on them, you know what I mean? If you drink sips of pickle juice, it helps your body just keep the water and keep everything in. I don't remember the whatever fucking term for it. But when you're just drinking water, you're just flushing your system. You need to retain the water so the water's actually being used properly.
Yeah. That's where I got the liquid IV. Pickles. That's when I started like mixing. I don't mix it full either. Like you said, I dilute the shit out of it. Or like I said, or a lot of times I'll just buy like a Gatorade and do half and half. Like I'll drink half on the way there and then dump water on top of it to get that like.
Well, sometimes
not
even
look perfect.
Gatorade's too sweet. Like sometimes I
Yeah.
water down Gatorade because I'm like, oh my god, like this is too much. Mio Energy every once in a while is good. Walmart sells like the little packets
Yep.
of like drink packets that are like a little bit of energy boost. I used to use those a lot when I worked overnight shifts. It's
See
not
what
like an
they.
energy drink; it's just a little boost. Um, but yeah, if there's a whole balance.
Yeah.
Today was the worst day that I've ever felt on and off the water. Like there have been times when I've been starving, but like
Right.
my whole body, like when I was cleaning up today, like packing up to go, I was like, I don't even know if I have the energy to get this kayak on
Yeah.
the roof of my fucking
And
car. Like it's not even a heavy kayak. Like
well,
it was rough. It was really rough. And I have to drive home tonight after this. Kill me.
yeah. No, it's and that's the thing is like it's crazy how like I saw some stat somewhere like about how many calories like you burn in a day of fishing. Like and that was like a bass fisherman.
Oh,
So
what
like
is it?
in a bass boat, it was a lot. I have to look it up, but it was like an insane amount of calories that you burn in like a 6 hour day of fishing. Like it's way more than you would think. And then if you add in the fact that you're kayaking, like that was done with like a bass fisherman, like they hooked them up to like sensors and stuff. And like
Oh my god.
then you yeah,
When
did you
fishing, an estimated person can burn up to 350 calories an hour.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Holy crap!
And that's considered that's from a bass boat
Oh my
where
god.
they got those stats from.
Wow.
That's what I
Yeah.
was saying. I was like, so think about that. And then if you add in your paddling or pedaling, either way,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
if you
yeah, yeah,
don't have a
whatever.
motor,
You're
you're
that's more.
then you're covering because if you ever like you should do it sometime. I don't know if you ever done it. You ever tracked like use like one of those apps that like even if it's
Your
like not to
miles.
charge your like your how many miles you cover, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, I like the Angler app for that because you can literally log
There was
everything
a
and it
day that I
tracks
covered
your
like
whole
20 miles. I didn't go anywhere. I just kept going back and forth to different parts of cover. Like I was in the same
Yeah.
bay all day, but I covered 20 miles in my kayak because I was just ping ponging around. But it was
Today
like,
it also would have really been nice to have the anchor wizard today or some
yeah,
sort of anchor just because it was breezy, which is was nice, but like
yeah.
it's just more effort that you're putting fighting.
Well,
Not even fighting, just redirecting your kayak, making it turn
yeah.
around. The
With
casting
the
is
tournament
awkward.
stuff too, like when you measure fish,
Oh god, yeah.
pro tip is like you just drop your anchor because then you don't have to like worry about where you're gonna end up.
Oh, I've ended up in a few trees today.
I've done I've done it in tournaments, in bass tournaments. I've been like measuring fish and beached my kayak,
Yep, all the time.
which isn't as big a deal on a paddle kayak, but when you get a pedal drive, you
Yeah,
can rip your freaking drive off like trying to like get to measure your fish.
yeah, 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 yeah. So that's yeah. I bought the anchor wizard, so I have that. Something I either wanted, I want a micro power pole anchor, obviously, but I don't have $500 or six, whatever it is, for
Well, and the
one.
battery too to run it.
Yeah, and the battery and like. Here's the thing about me. I love all the bells and whistles and having all the toys and all the
Yep.
accessories, but God, does it piss me off too to have all the bells and whistles and all the toys and all the accessories. Sometimes I just want to go fucking fish. So it's like
Yep.
it's gonna be a fun little thing for me. Whatever kayak that I do end up getting though, it's definitely gonna have some sort of pedal drive, but
Yep.
I will still buy the insert so that it's just the plain deck,
Yep.
so that I can just fish out of it.
I so that's it's funny that once you do content creation too,
Hmm.
it's a whole other level of fuckery to your day because like people will ask me like I'm going fishing Wednesday, right?
Hmm.
Tomorrow when I get home,
Okay.
I have to charge a big battery for my
Yeah.
cameras. I have to make sure that my memory cards are in my cameras and that they're
And
formatted
that
so
they're
that they're empty
empty. Yep, and they're ready to
because
go.
otherwise you're going to have to delete footage that you may want. So you got to make sure to offload your footage that you wanted to keep. Luckily,
Yep.
my last day of I'm going to say this is going to sound really backwards, but luckily my last day of fishing sucked and there's no footage to recover. So I'm just going to format the cards in the camera and move on to my day.
Yeah.
But you have to have that. You have to think about like I bought the Rode Wireless Go
The
external
lavalier
mics
mics, I have those. Hmm.
because sometimes with a GoPro style camera, if there's any wind at all, you might as well take a fucking leaf blower to your microphone because that's what it sounds like.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how faint you think the wind is, it is
Yep.
1,000-fold louder in the video. So you have
Yep.
to have those with you. And then you have to have your rods, your baits, all the stuff that you're going to fish with. And you got to set all this up when you get to the lake, take it all down when you get off the water.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. So let's start from the beginning, right? Because let's get into the content creating aspect. Whenever we go anywhere to do anything, we need a full camera bag of gear.
I have them right here.
Period. Point blank. It's not here, but this is just like the podcast gear that I have, but this is an old camera bag. But like,
you have a backpack specific just for the content creation.
Always. Oh yeah, whole waterproof setup, extra batteries, extra cases, extra SD cards, microphones. But the night before, you have to make sure everything is fully charged and everything is where it is. You also don't forget to bring it with you when you leave the house. Make sure it all works. You have all of the proper connecting points. Like today, I don't have my kayak anymore, so the front mount for the GoPro, I had to tape with clear packing tape so that it would stay in the front of the boat because I didn't have the right pin for it. So, like, your car needs to have, like, an emergency kit for all of your camera gear. And then, so here's the thing with me. This is part of my OCD, but this is also smart. My hunting camera equipment is orange, but also all of my hunting accessories are orange. I am a color code type of person. You guys should know this about me by now. My kayak fishing stuff is blue. So any accessories for the camera are blue, and I know that goes there. And then anything in between is like regular black, whatever. That's like the main stuff, the backup stuff that gets thrown in the car or what have you. The bus, all the bus stuff is going to be red. And people are like, well, that's fucking stupid. I'm like, no, it's fucking not, because when you're out there and the number one piece of equipment you're using to film everything doesn't have one piece, you're going to be pissed off. So
there's always a fucking adapter that you don't have, and now you can't do any of the stuff you wanted to do.
Yeah. Here, last night, I was FaceTiming with my wife, and I was being lazy. So this is a GoPro attachment. This is a zip tie. I zip tied my phone because I don't know where my phone GoPro thingy is. I don't know where it is.
Yeah. No, that's the thing about it that's crazy too, is like once it's like an addiction, and it becomes a problem once you've started filming, especially if you're planning on, like, I'm not making YouTube a career necessarily, but I also will never go fishing without a camera. Like, I have literally gotten to the ramp. Those things right there.
This is what I needed today.
Those things right there are the cheapest, most expensive thing that you will forget.
Yeah.
Because you will get to the lake and now you can't fish because you don't have a fucking little screw.
Yep. This one was my brother's originally. You can see that it's silver there because he painted the tips of his silver.
Yep.
But that was.
And the thing is some of those are not created equal either. Some of them are longer and shorter and some of them are thicker diameter, so they don't always all work with the same accessories.
This one is by Go Buddy. To be honest, these are my favorite ones. The slenderness of them, like, they just fit well. I wish I had my camera stuff with me. I'm sorry that I don't. It's in my car. I'm not going to worry about it. But the battery case that I have for my GoPros hits this every time I crank it. And I'm like, why do we design it this way?
The media mod on the fucking GoPro is backwards. So a lot of accessories, you have to use one of these to change the direction.
Yep.
Because the side that you normally would put the thumb screw on, they made a groove so that you can get it underneath there. But it's opposite of 90% of the freaking accessories. So you have to buy an adapter that turns it 90 degrees so that you can then hook the adapter to it. Yep. It's the dumbest setup ever. But that's what I mean is, like, when you go fishing as a content creator, think about everything that you have to pack to go fishing.
And then
add in... You've got it. Like, literally when my son, actually, is funny. This is a funny conversation because it's literally the conversation I had with my son. I was walking out of the house. My son, I bring him home on Sundays to his mom's. Nice. And I was just going to go fishing after. I was just going to fish a lake down by where his mom lives. So I just packed everything before I left. And I'm walking out of the house and I go, okay, I got my big battery, my little battery, my 2 cables, my adapter. I'm saying this out
Unscrew.
loud as I'm walking out of the house, and he's staring
Yep.
at me. I'm like, memory cards are formatted. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm going through the checklist because if I
Oh.
forget any of these things, my
Yep.
entire day is over.
Fucking ruined.
And then you got to take into account rods, baits, line, backup stuff for
Paddle.
that,
You
paddle.
paddle that I recently forgot.
So the dumbest one that I ever had was I got to a lake one day, and you've seen the Old Town, right?
Yeah.
The way the drive connects to the front, there's a metal bar, and
Yep.
it
Yep.
has 2 little turns that you turn. I
hmm
lost that fucking bar.
Yeah, you've told me this.
And I got to the lake and I didn't know how. Still haven't found it. I don't know where it is. But like the shit like that it's like I've got everything else, but
It
I can't
slides
control
out.
myself.
It
It
slides.
can. It's got there's screws on the back of it, and if you
Mm.
don't have them fully tight enough, so what I do with mine is I take my drive out, I turn it sideways, and I put it under my seat to transport it on my trailer.
Oh, I got you. So
So
that.
I can't leave that bar in. I used to take the bar out, lock it into the thing, so it'd stay on my kayak, and then I would set that in there. Well, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
probably somewhere on the highway, and
Yeah.
some convict picked it up as part of his
Somebody
trash
scrapped it. They
responsibility. Yeah.
scrapped it for sure. Yeah, like this. So, like, one thing that I do is I always keep a thumb screw attached. Typically, other than today, I always keep a thumb screw attached. The only problem is with this type, this bottom one doesn't have the little nut
Yep.
thing. So then you're always missing one.
Yep.
This is like a little 360 GoPro attachment piece, which is great. But then again, it's got fucking 3 thumb screws that come off of it. It's like it gets so bulky and so frustrating. Like sometimes I just want to connect it and go. In the good old days.
DJI.
Yeah, that's what you're telling me, dude. My GoPros they're starting to they're starting to.
Don't buy it. Don't buy a GoPro, seriously. So the DJI has a magnetic mount that clips in.
But I don't know if it clips
So
in or it just
it's both.
magnetizes.
It's both.
Okay,
It's
then you
2
can.
fingers and then a strong magnet in the middle. And when you set it
Oh,
down,
okay.
the magnet lines it up and then it clicks in. So you
Oh,
don't have to take thumb screws anymore. You squeeze and pop it off.
okay. Well,
So the
that could
whole
be very
unit can
cool.
stay together, and you just take the camera off of your mount.
Oh, who would like to fund my camera equipment? Because I
So
don't.
you want to know what's aggravating about that? You know how much the DJI 3 is?
500.
200.
$200. That's it.
And
God.
if you saw my recent the open water fishing video I did not that long
Mm-hmm.
ago, that was all on that, shot on that.
Oh, sweet.
It's way better quality.
Yeah.
Like it goes 4K 120
Oh
if you
shit.
want it to.
Yeah.
And it's 200. So that's why I was aggravated, because I was like, this camera costs $200 less than the GoPro
Yeah.
and it's better. I bought 2 of them. I
Oh, I
got one
would.
in back and one in front. They do voice command. They have an app that you can literally call it up and turn it, start it, and stop it from the app.
Oh, okay.
And you can actually see the view from the camera on the app.
Right.
So if
I thought.
because that's one other thing that with the content creation side is like, you think that you have the camera positioned right, and then you do this whole view, and she's shaking her head because she knows exactly where it's going. You do this whole thing, and you're like, guys, I got this fish. I caught it with this technique, and this is what it looks like. I caught this fish, and it's this technique. And
No,
guys, look, I'm using this bait.
it's like this. I'm like, guys, you'll never believe what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah,
Oh my god, look at
exactly.
this fish, and the fish is like off
All you
screen.
see is the fucking tail because you
Jackass.
had your camera messed up.
I had a hat cam on today, but I had the GoPro session. No way of knowing if that angle was good.
See,
But
that's where
I
the
rolled with
DJI.
it.
That's where the DJI is cool because it doesn't do like like GoPro. You have to actually touch the camera, turn on Wi-Fi mode, find the camera, and then connect to
Yeah.
it. The
Yeah.
DJI, you just literally open it, connect to it, and it will connect automatically.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then you can be like,
yeah,
it looks good on my camera. That's why I recommend it. I have no affiliation with them at all, other than the
Right.
fact that I now will probably never buy another GoPro product because their stuff
That's
is better.
crazy.
But
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. Now, so fishing for you, are you like I know you said like you still have to like work obviously to save up money because you are
Struggling.
well,
Sorry.
no, I don't know if I'm supposed to say so.
Oh shit.
The bus is kind of done, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know how much. The problem is again, I'm not sure how much of my secrets I'm supposed to tell this way, but
That's the
like you're
reason why
close to finishing the
that's
bus.
the reason why this curtain is up, and because the lighting is string lighting, guys. Like string.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm in the bus right now. Yes, content is coming out. Um, I'm uploading twice a week. One of those videos is a regular video, and then the other one is the podcast. Um,
Yep.
bus content is coming out to you guys. Super exciting about that. But it's almost done. It's almost done. Like my dad needs to take it to get it to the weigh station because that's part of the regulations. You got to get it weighed. And then we can put the paperwork in to get it legal and get it on
See,
the
I never
road.
knew any of that part. Like, I never knew when
Yeah,
you modify, you gotta like then because I always thought like it's already a bus, so it's legal as a bus, but
it
it's not because
because
you
it's going
modified
to
it.
be insured as an RV. So there's the
So you have to
loophole
do a
there.
different thing
You
there.
have to
Okay.
do a different thing. And for me, I don't know if this is worldwide, but for the state of New Jersey, you have to paint the outside of your bus a different color. It cannot be yellow. It's the only state that has that rule. I understand it. I was always going to paint mine. You'll have to see what color it is later. You have
What
to take
color it is.
photos. You have to take photos of the entire outside of all angles to like show what it looks like now. You have to prove that most of the seats have been removed and have a running sink as well as possible stove. So like my stove is like a camp stove type thing. One day I might hybridize that into like an electric starter
Yeah.
that, but I've got like so many camp propane stoves. There's no point. Um, you have to have the final weight, and then you send all that in, all the paperwork, all the pictures, all that good stuff, and then it takes them a few weeks to
Now, did
approve
they
it.
like did they give you like a new title? Is that how that works? Like, is the
I
title of a
have
different
the
vehicle?
title. Yeah, that's probably part of it. I have the title of it as the bus. But
And then
in
you'd like
order,
retitle it.
yeah, like, but in order for, like, I can't get a license plate for it.
She's literally
Hi!
downstairs. Sometimes she jumps into the pod, but
um, I can't get a license plate for it because of the restrictions, legalities, what have you, because it's not just a bus anymore. It's technically
a
a
drivable
converted
RV, yeah.
drivable RV. So it's a different system. And that's where those steps come in place. Now, I'll tell you this much. In the 7 fucking years that I've had this bus, nobody has actually told us those steps until a couple months ago. So that's part of the reason why it took so long. I mean, on top of life, but like
Right.
we never actually knew the checklist. Like now we know the checklist, so it's like
Right.
okay, um, yeah. So we're close.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Again, I try to like be sneaky because I don't remember what I'm supposed to or not supposed to say.
Yeah,
But
no, that's okay. I get it. Just it's happening. Things are happening. It will be legal within a couple months, probably.
sweet.
And all the videos should be up within the year. So I'm not gonna like give like. Here's the thing. I have videos from the 7 years that I've been doing this, and then I'm gonna have content that's current. So like
Yep.
for people that are watching my videos, they're like, this says October of 20 whatever and it's April. And I'm like, no, you dingus. Like, no offense, but that's clearly when the video was
It's
taken. Like
so I will admit that's a thing that you do though. Like I will tell you right now, there is, as a matter of fact, I think the video. Let me look. Let me quote it right now. I'm
oh
pretty sure the video that's about to hit on my channel tomorrow. No, that one's actually. A lot of the videos that are hitting in May is what it is.
okay.
Are videos I filmed in August last
Yeah.
year because there were content that like I wanted to get it out. I thought it was something that would be good, but some of it was like educational content, but it was like how to fish docks.
Yeah.
But it was fucking September. So I was like, that's not really the time
Yeah.
of year to put out a dock fishing video. So I held it. So like that's not uncommon for people to do that. And you're kind of rebranding, so you're like kind of bringing
Yeah.
the new people up
Yeah.
as well as
I'm
bringing
not
other
just
stuff
trying to be
in.
like, oh, I'm traveling in this thing. Da, 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 da. And people are like,
Yeah,
wait, what? Like, I'm giving you the backstory. I'm giving you me, you know, in all
Yep.
different forms of the video. And here's the other thing: as a content creator, I don't have to freaking film something tomorrow and put it up tomorrow or today.
No.
Like, you know, like we can
To be honest, you're
reuse.
better off not doing that. Like a lot of people, I have a lot of friends that are like, "Oh, I gotta make content because I fished yesterday," and I'm like, "Yeah, but if you're filming, you want fishing today, for example, right? If you
Yep.
had content from today, if you just like grind out that video and release it tonight, it's gonna be sucky because you're not gonna be able to take the time
Yep.
to really put the work into it. And honestly, this is going to sound really negative to everybody that's watching, especially the people that are in here right now that watch almost every one of my videos. But
Uh-huh.
like, I don't personally care if people watch it if I'm happy with it. If people watch it and I'm happy with it,
Yeah.
then it's cool. But like,
Yeah.
if I rush a video, I've literally rushed a video and then watched people watch it and then like had people say that was a great video and I'm like,
And you're cringing the
you're
whole time.
I'm like, no, this video sucks.
Yeah.
Like I pulled a bunch of my videos off my channel
Mm-hmm.
because I hated how they came out because I rushed them. And it's like
Yeah.
part of the thing about being a content creator is it's just as fun to make the actual edit as it is to be there making the video.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like rushing it isn't worth it. And honestly, you're at a
No.
point where you're kind of in a perfect spot where you've been doing YouTube for a long time, but you're rebranding. So your audience doesn't really have the
Yeah.
older people might have an expectation, but you really don't have that
Right.
like I literally have had people like ask me when my next video is coming out. And that's weird to me because for a while it was like I may or may not have a video this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
To a point now where I've gotten to the mentality of like when I go fishing, I'll record an educational video specifically because I know I need to piece it in somewhere later.
Yeah.
But like I do 2 to 3 a week now because I'm stupid and I fish my ass off. But and
I
actually, I
almost.
want to answer this question real quick. So
Okay.
Scott
What is it?
Vermonter, yes, I did get out. No, I did not catch anything, and I'm still bitter about it. Okay, you can continue.
I got out today and I whooped him. I whooped that tush. I also lost a pair of fish grips, which seems like last year on Champlain, an 8-pound bowfin took my fish grips. These were like the original fish grips that my brother bought when we were like 12. So I found them on eBay and bought them again. And then this pickerel today took them. I was like, I've never lost fish grips. Like I've never to a fish. Like I've never like I might have knocked things over in the boat, but I've never had a fish grip attached to
Mine
a
are
fish.
tethered to my kayak now because of that.
Yep. Yeah, well, guess who's learning? But that's just another piece of kit. That's just another thing I have to do. It's another attachment point that I have to have. It's like, oh my god.
Yep.
But oh my god, what were you talking about before that? Content creating and YouTube videos. So the blessing that I have right now is the cushion of videos that I have. That is huge because so many creators will experience burnout when they're trying to be current with what they're doing. Yep. And like I don't know what format I want. So one of the creators that I watch, her name is Laura Kampf, I think, or something. She is from a different country. She's really cool. She does construction stuff, DIY projects. She's amazing. But she breaks her years into seasons, is what she calls them. And they don't come up like currently. They come out on a schedule, but it's not like she's filming yesterday and then uploading today.
Yep.
She's taking the time. She has a guy who like helps her film these videos. They both go through and edit it the way that she wants it. Like she has a brand, she has a face, she knows her style, and like that's what she's doing. I have that, but I don't have that. Like I didn't know what I was doing in the beginning. I was doing like review videos from my basement from Christmas presents that I've had that I didn't even use yet. Like those are the first videos that I ever made. And it's like, that's not, it feels fake. It feels phony. Like I have to find my own voice and you will see my personality throughout all of my videos. And like the older ones, they were good edits for when I was editing them. Like now I've got 10 years under the belt. So like I do a little bit better. But that's also part of the journey. And for me, when I started making videos, it was always for me to be able to go back and watch. I have like a fear of losing my memory. So like I've always loved the idea of having my videos, my adventures for me to go back and watch, for my kids to watch, for my great grandkids, you know, all that stuff. Like it's never going to die if it's on the internet. And like, I love it. And if I can turn that into a career, that's absolutely incredible. But I have a cushion right now to where I can actually be here, be present in the bus project and what's going on with my kayak, but uploading content so that my audience is getting a background and getting information and getting to know me a little bit. And then it'll all come together at some point and merge. Do I know when that is? No, but like, I'm happy to ride the wave. It's
For
a big
those of you
stress
who
reliever.
don't know what she means by what's going on with her kayak, she ordered a new kayak. It came damaged. I'm not going to go too much into detail because what I want you to do is go
Mm.
check out her Instagram, follow her page, and you'll be able to follow all the details over there. But there's another portion of that that's going to come out at a later date. So the only way you're going to find that out is to follow her channel because I'm not going to tell you because she'll kick my ass when she sees me if I tell you ahead of time. But
Thank you. Do not buy a Van Hunk's kayak. That's all I have to say.
yep, yep, don't do it.
Don't deal with
This
that company.
this
Don't
literal
do it.
podcast was originally going to be a bitch fest about that kayak, but we decided to just talk fishing instead.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little unclassy of us, but also like when you're in it, you say some things, girl. All this, and
She was pissed. She was like ready to call for you. She's like, "I'll call him and yell at him." Like
I looked at my wife and I said, "Well, can you just call them and like unleash the
yeah.
old security guard or something in you?" And she was like, "It's not my order, da da da." So I was like, "Okay, I need to step up." Um, I'll tell you how it happened. Okay, I left a really bad review on their website, like really, really bad, and I had to
Mhm.
approve it. So I know HR saw it. Then I called, left a very not nice message that was basically like, "I will take legal action if I have to."
Yeah.
They called me back. That's all I have to say about that. But like,
Yep.
guys, we're talking about like 4.5 weeks of a company trying to
Well,
just
and they it was a
screw
long
you.
time to get it to come in the mail, and then it was a
Mm-hmm.
long time to get the issue resolved, and that was what the whole thing is. Though I think at the end of the day, I think you're going to be better off,
Oh yeah. Oh,
and
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think at the so out of that, so let's just go into. Do you have? And I know like you don't have, but you do have. Do you have like a goal for like your starting travel? Because I know you're just starting, so you don't like you're not gonna drive to California next week.
Oh
Like
yeah, no, no, no.
that's not the goal. Like, are you gonna stay mostly New England, fish around you? Do you have
I
like a bucket list like place you want to go that you could try to accomplish this year?
um I wanted I want to get this thing ready for Vermont in May. Like if I can
Okay.
bring this up with us and get my ass up there and like spend maybe a month up there, maybe. That would be great. I do want to do Maine. My friend who lives out of her fifth wheel like camper trailer, we've got some things in the works for that. I think I'm gonna stay up this coast. Like I think I'm gonna stay
Yep.
in that region. I'm not gonna go too far. There's definitely like some surf fishing stuff that I want to do out of like Sandy Hook, which is like, an hour from here.
Yep.
Um, I just kind of I'm not doing the big like cross country send right now. I might be more towards the fall. I don't really know yet, but like
New
I
England
have
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I have at least 4 like pretty chunky trips that I'm very excited about. Um yeah, I'm like very excited
Okay.
about. But I think I'm going to stay in that area. I've got somebody up in New Hampshire that I want to like do some collabing with. I've got Elevate Youth, which is a program that works with kids and getting them outdoors. I want to
Okay.
do something with them. So like I have some things lined up that I'm super excited about, and I think this is like I wanted to originally just jump right in. But I
Yep.
think I've learned in life a little bit, not all the times, guys, because I can just woo without thinking.
Yep.
But I think we're gonna dip our toe in from now until like I said, around the fall, and then see what
Okay.
happens. Because like once September hits, you're talking archery season. Like I've got the whole month of September booked for archery. October, I don't know yet. November is more archery in Pennsylvania. So like there's some things. I got some ski trips. I want to do some ice fishing this year. So like yeah, I've got yeah. So like I've got some good ideas.
Yep.
I need to reach out to some more people to see if they want to do some collabs or what the openings look like as far as schedules go. But
Ice
like
fishing.
yeah. I'm ready.
I've got you
I'm
a
so
spot.
ready.
So
Oh boy.
Vermont State Parks.
Mhm.
The way it works is once the season ends for the camping, you
Mhm.
can sleep overnight in the state parks. So the walleye in my intro video,
Sign me up.
that came
Yeah,
from a state park. There's a boat ramp right there.
beautiful.
You park right there in your bus. There's literally a porta potty there too, just in case.
Yeah,
And you literally could just drop your bus right there, and you could literally just drag it out on the ice and go fishing. And
dude.
you're legal to stay there, so it's going to be
T-
like ideal for that.
today, like the fishing sim that I took today, if I would have just brought the bus, I would have immediately just lightly unpacked and then crashed for like an hour
See,
and a half.
and
Like,
that's the beauty of it is like that's the one thing
yeah,
that bus deal is like if you're exhausted from fishing all day, you just sleep it off, and you can
yep,
sleep it off comfortably. Yeah, you could sleep it off in a car, but that's not. It's you end up just getting more pissed than rested.
yeah. I can't move my legs in the car. Like literally,
Yeah.
I'm
The whole
frozen.
reason that you want to rest is because you've been sitting in a weird position, and then to get in the car and sit in a weird position to try to rest doesn't really accomplish what you want to do. So that's cool. Yeah, definitely the main that's one of the ones that I want to do, but it's again, it's not the fishing even because the I don't know,
Yeah.
like maybe it's my opinion, but like I don't feel like bass fishing in Maine unless it's like this big secret that I don't know about. You don't
Oh.
see a lot of like big monster bass coming out of Maine, but
No,
you do
mate.
see a lot of like pike and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
that's part of the reason why. But I also like it's just beautiful there. Like my
Well,
friends,
it's
like we have to go to
yeah,
Acadia, and I'm like, okay, 100%.
like
Her
that's
dog
the
and
place
my
to go
dog.
camp out, like the
Oh yeah,
overland camp and like to just park in the woods somewhere, and that's the part I want to do is like just go up there and just chill for a week and camp.
that's basically what that trip will be. Like there will be fishing, but it's more like hang out with my friend, do some like hiking together. The only thing that sucks is our dog, my dog, the only dog that she doesn't get along with is Marissa's dog, Nugget. I don't know why. They're both female. Like my Riley just doesn't get along with her. So like I
Yeah,
can't bring my dog on that trip. So that's kind of a bummer. But I love Nugget so much that like I'm gonna just share
yeah,
Marissa's dog with her, so
it
it's fine.
works.
But no, that trip is going to be more of the camping, relaxing, exploring experience than it's like
Yep.
we're going here, we're going fishing. The bus is here as a hub to like recover and to have all of our gear. But it's, whatever. I want to do some survival challenges. Like, I want to do some stuff like that. So, like,
That's the advantage of your channel. I think you have over a lot. Like, not that like I want to compete. That's not the point. But
yeah,
like,
no, no, no.
my channel is more like fishing. So like, I'm ice fishing or I'm open water
100%.
fishing, and that's it. Like, that's all. And that's I tried doing hunting, and I fucking hated filming it. It's aggravating to film. Like,
It's
it just
hard.
really
It's
is.
not easy,
It's
especially
not
when you have
easy to do.
whitetail. They're fucking smart. They're
Yeah,
smart.
you can't move. You have to have. You can't use this. You're not using a GoPro to do whitetail footage. It doesn't work.
No, I have a big
It
camera arm with my
does not
Sony and my
zoom. It does
big
not catch
lens,
anything.
Rode mic that's like this fucking big,
Yeah,
big battery extended to the back. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
You need all this extra stuff. So like, you have the advantage of if you're not catching and you're in the wilderness, you can be like, hey, we're gonna learn how to build a shelter today, or we're
Yep.
gonna learn how to build a fire, or like I
Hmm.
know there's like more than that, but like those are the simple
Yeah.
ones that I can think of off the top of my head. But like,
Mhm.
that's the whole thing. How to build a snare trap. Like you can just do a quick video and then push the content out. So that's gonna be the nice thing about
Yeah.
you're gonna have that ability to just like go do all these little because that's one thing I actually learned that I like, and I did it in a weird way because I do the educational stuff,
Hmm.
and it's been more fun for me almost than some of the fishing stuff because I try to do the educational stuff, but I try to do the stuff that like people don't talk about. Like I
Yeah.
have a video. I'm gonna kind of like probably screw myself and give out the information now, but like I have a
No.
video like the spawn thing that we were talking about, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I don't like catching bedfish necessarily, but one thing you can do is if you see bedding fish, mark that waypoint because that's going to help
Uh-huh.
you locate those fish
Yep.
later. And that's things that people don't talk about. They talk about, oh, well, this is where the fish are going to be during this time. Well, you
Yeah.
don't know where the spawning flat is if you don't see them spawning. Because where
Accurate.
you think the spawning flat is may not be the spawning flat. But if you find a bed or you see fish on a bed, you
Yeah.
now have a guaranteed spot, and that's the only spot that those fish have to be.
Yeah.
In their genetics, in their hardwired coded brain, they have to go spawn. They
Yep.
don't have to be on that brush pile. They don't have to be on that rock pile. But every year in the spring, they have to go spawn. So they may not be the same fish, but there's always, if the fish are spawning there, they're spawning there for a reason.
Yep.
Fish are going to come back there next year. So then you can backtrack them during the time of year that you actually are fishing based on, oh, I know there's a spawn here. There's a brush pile over here. They may have moved off to here. So it gives you that like
100%.
starting point. And that's the kind of stuff that I try to do because no one talks about that stuff. They're like, they'll give you the high level. Oh yeah, once you find a spawning flat, you go out, find the deepest ledge on the side with it, and you're like, that doesn't do me any good. I don't know if I fuck they spawn.
Yeah, yeah. Here's my thing, like especially that I'm trying to do like today, it just more in my videos. So I started off with a gold Thomas spinner. Fucking the water is stained. You're talking about
Yep.
pickerel. Anything gold and flashy, they're gonna want to murder it.
Yep.
Which is great, but there's so much submerged brush that I wasn't able to like really get it in there. So then the second thing that I was throwing was a Zoom a Z-Man minnow on a Z-Man Bullet Z weedless head, and my third cast, literally, I hooked the biggest pickerel like so far because I was able to get into it. And I'm like, guy, I'm not saying, guys, this is what you have to do. I'm saying, okay, so here's what I was doing. And I was thinking to myself, I can't really get in there, but like I'm getting bites. So I know the fish are around. So let's see if maybe they're tighter to cover. And then boom, I had results. I'm not going to say every single time, like, guys, you have to fish right next to the tree stump because that's not always the case.
No.
But today that was working for me best. And I was able to like switch back and forth and almost call my shots, which is the most amazing feeling ever when you're fishing, when you can literally be like, ooh, that's a good cast. And then like 1, 2, 3, and then you got one. So like, I don't know everything about fishing and I don't know all the techniques and I don't know, I don't know a lot, but like I do know a lot, but I don't know everything. So I will give you the information that I have in that moment for what's working for me and why I think it's working that way. But that doesn't mean like if you go out tomorrow, you need to repeat the same things that I did and you're going to have the same results because that's not the case at all.
Well, that's actually the cool thing about it though, is that's where like the content side comes in though, because so that is the case, but it isn't also because here's the thing. I was using this bait on like I like and I don't like. As somebody who's technical, I like watching a video where they're like, "Oh, I was using 12-pound Seagar and Vizgex lined with an Abu Garcia Revo rocket with the." To me, that's information I want. But because I've been fishing long enough, pretty much my whole life, I also know how to read between the lines and go, "Okay, you said Seagar and Vizgex, fluorocarbon, doesn't matter brand."
Right.
Abu Garcia Revo Rocket. Okay, Revo Rocket is a high-speed gear ratio reel. Doesn't have to be an Abu Garcia. I could translate that down to you're using a fast reel with fluorocarbon, and this was the bait you were using, and I could probably find something that's cheaper. Mm-hmm. And that's what I try to do on my channel is I go, okay, guys, here's what I'm using. But you don't need to use this. You could use something cheaper. This is just what I'm using. You know what I mean? And that's where I've tried to like I have this ability in some cases to explain shit in a different way that people get it. Like a lot of times guys get too technical in their descriptions, and I'm trying to be the guy that's like, somebody started fishing in 2020, and I can't say the reason why 2020 is why they started fishing because they'll demonetize the video. But there was a certain thing that took over the world that caused a lot of people to start fishing, and that was literally their first adventure into fishing. They'd never fished before. Their parents didn't take them fishing. They don't have pictures of them in a car seat in the front of their dad's 17-foot Sylvan like I did. I learned how to tie a polymer knot before I learned how to tie my shoes. Like it's just that's how it is. So like I try to break it down like, okay guys, if the wind is blowing north and you're fishing, ride the wind but cast into the wind as much as you can because the bait fish have to follow the wind because they can't fight it. So if you try to cast against the wind and reel bait against the wind, those fish are going to look at that a little weird because why the hell is this 3-inch minnow able to swim upstream? Those little things like people don't think about. And it's those little details that I try to do a video on. And that's what I learned with the content creation side is I could take a whole day of fishing, but then I can like not catch anything. well, then I have no video. But
Yeah.
if I stop and explain why I'm casting to the right side of that tree versus the left side of that tree,
Yep.
then somebody else that may be fishing on a body of water that has a similar situation may go, oh, dude, I remember when I watched that video, he casted there for this reason. I don't want
Yep.
you to use the same bait I'm using or even use the same spot if you fish my lakes. I just want you to understand that there's a concept and something like you said, like the thing that you didn't work today but might work tomorrow but might work the next day. But if you remember that it did work one time, that's what fishing is. Fishing isn't knowing everything about fishing all the time. It's having a memory of, okay, the last time it was windy and cloudy and cold when
They
I
wanted a white
threw,
spinner bait with like
yeah,
double silver blades. They didn't
yeah,
want, one gold. They wanted double, the long skinny ones. That's what they
yeah.
wanted.
And let's try that and see what happens. And then you don't catch one and you're like, okay, well, maybe it was the white. So then you try throwing a white bait of a different category. And that's what
Or
we talk
red,
about.
or like natural. It all depends.
Yeah. When we're doing the videos, guys, and we say you're trying to find the pattern, that's what a pattern is.
Yep.
It is
Yep.
the weird circumstances that all combine to why I caught that fish. And the more you remember about that, and that's what's cool about like doing these like grassroots videos, is that to be honest, I don't want to watch the video where they're like, you know what? This is the best bottle, and you can only catch 5-pounders on this bottle.
Yeah. I like this bottle, you piece of shit. This bottle is better.
That is not
it's
the only bottle.
Pink and it's cute. It's got a little curve to it. She's got hips.
See, like the guys that are like, that's the reason why I caught this fish, I stopped watching their channel.
Yeah, no.
Because I'm like, no, the reason you caught that fish is because you were using a fucking chatterbait in the right conditions.
Yeah,
the reel had nothing to do with it.
The days of any angler being like, this is the lure that catches fish. This is why I won the Bassmaster Classic. Like, no. I could buy 15 different brands, variations of that bait, and have the same success. Doesn't have to be that one. Like,
I'll tell you right now, jerk baits, for example. I own Mega
I don't like them.
Bass.
I don't like them.
I don't either. I suck at them. But like, when it comes to jerk baits, I use Mega Bass. I use Yozuri. I use Strike King. I use Berkeley, Rapala. Guess what? Sometimes the fucking $3 Yozuri works just as good as the $20 Mega Bass.
I like Yozuri. Yeah, I'm never spending $20 on a fucking
You know what I
bait.
mean? It's I spend way too much
money. Oh. I was like, what's happening? I was like, are the aliens
I literally have my best bait this year so far is a $25 6-cent trace swim bait.
Oh, the big one.
5-inch one.
Oh, the hook come.
So it's it's a jointed. It's a 3-joint swim bait. It's about 5 inches long. I will tell you, for your waters, it probably will be good too. It's the 4K bluegill or 4K gill color, so it looks like it's this big basically.
Stop.
And it's a jointed bluegill, and it's a slow sink, so it sits just below the water, and you can with the cold water. You can literally slow roll it, and it like looks like basically a lethargic bluegill.
Yeah.
Like I was catching like fish when nothing else worked. And dude, it's a 5-inch bait, but it was catching 13. It wasn't like big, but it was.
Yeah. What is the weather going to be like this week? I almost don't want to know because I'm not able to stay down here at my parents' house. Because I have work. So tomorrow's going to be 76. Wednesday, 70. Thursday, 71.
Yep.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm fine, everybody. I'm fucking fine. I should be here fishing, but I have to work. No, I bought the big Guggen swim bait that is in the bluegill pattern. I've got a couple ones that are in trout patterns, which obviously right now would be the perfect time. But I don't have time tomorrow because tomorrow I would have gone to a lake that is stocked, and they sit at the very front of the lake, like there's a deep part by the main road, and that's where I would just be throwing that thing, trying to get a big one to bite. But it's part of life. But when you circle it back to like trying to figure out the fish, It's a branch that just can go any direction that you want it to go. You start off with something and you build on that. It's like, so like my wife, for instance, predominantly like a surf fisher woman for striper. That's what she knows. So like getting her into freshwater, there's a learning curve.
There's a lot of live bait in saltwater world, and there's not as much artificial.
Yeah. So when she's sitting there for 15 minutes letting a bass eat a Cinco, like it's already shitting it out. Like she's like, I'm waiting for him to eat it. I'm like, set the fuck. He ate it 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, like explaining to her, like, okay, you see how like we're fishing in lily pads, a little heavier cover, so you're gonna want like braided line and you're gonna want like a heavy rod so that you can muscle that fish, as opposed to like, okay, today like we're fishing pretty much open water, it's got a little bit of rocks on the bottom, and we're gonna throw a crankbait. So you want something that's like medium with a fast tip. There's differences. It doesn't have to be so particular. I don't care what brand you buy. Like she has they're Abu Garcia rods, right? Berkeley and Abu Garcia. Very inexpensive, $40 reels and like a $50 rod. That's all she
Black
needs.
Max.
Yeah, they're great. I'm literally looking at one above my head. That's why I keep
Black
looking
Max.
at the baitcaster, the orange one.
That might be the Jordan Lee.
What? Max? I don't know. Whatever.
Max X.
Max X. There we go.
Garcia Max
I'm
X.
like, what?
Yep.
There's two. There's
the Jordan Lee one, they did the same thing. Yeah.
The spinning version and the baitcaster version.
Yep.
And like, it works. It's fine. She has an ugly stick that's like her heaviest rod. Works fucking great. There's no, you don't have to go spend whatever you want on fishing equipment. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life. I don't want to spend a lot of money on my rods. I'll spend all of my money on lures and stuff, but I still try to get the most that I can out of my money, per se. But you need to stick to like 3 colors. So like white and chartreuse, like I told her, will catch fish in dirty water and clean water.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with it. Now, when you want to talk about green pumpkin or something in that natural color, it's clearer water. It's usually how that works. If you have dirty water, you want to go dark, like black and blue, like something dark, so the fish can see. Those are the principles that you're working with, that you're basing it off of. Anything else from there is just like whatever. And like you can like when companies come out with new colors, it's for us mostly because they're like, oh, the consumer, like, oh,
bass can't even see blue.
I have to have that color. Oh, really?
You can't see blue at all. They don't have the cone or rod or whatever it is to see the color blue.
What the hell are we doing then? Why do we make black and blue everything?
So
for
the
us?
blue, so it's black and lighter black. It's a different shade of black to them. It's a contrast. That's what it is. Yep. Fucked up, right? So think about all the color. Now think about the color wheel, right? Think about the fucking colors that you throw that have blue as part of like colors that you match to make that color.
Yeah.
Think about purple.
Crazy.
Purple's just fucking black.
Purple.
It's just black because it's got blue in it.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. Like
I honestly want to make like a filter. Like I almost want to see if I can find a filter that will remove blue from a color.
That would be dope. So
you can hold your phone over it and be like, "Oh, this is what it actually looks like to a bass."
That would be dope. The only reason that I like the first time I ever went to the lake I went to today was with a buddy of mine. I lost his contact information. It makes me so sad. His name is Marco. He is like a big teddy bear.
Feel like I have a shit on my podcast.
That's right, girl.
I'm on both ends of the spectrum. Like I have
the cheap stuff, the inexpensive stuff.
I have like I bought $100 spinning combo, which is kind of expensive, but at the same time, like
a combo like rod and reel.
Yeah,
for $100, that's good.
Yeah, but that's like at the same time, I'll tell you, I have high end combos, and if people ask me like what they should get, I ask them where they're at because that's the whole thing. Yeah. Where are you at in your fishing journey? If you're just starting out and you're looking to upgrade to a new spinning rod from the one that your grandfather gave you 20 years ago, I'm not going to tell you to go buy a fucking G Loomis. I'm going to tell you to buy an Ugly Stick GX2 combo
Mm-hmm.
that's going to cost you $49 at Walmart. It's going to come with shitty garbage line that you need to cut off and throw away immediately.
Right. I'm
But
listening.
the rod and reel are solid. Or Fluger President is another one that's like you usually can buy super cheap and you're not going to spend a ton of money on.
Okay. I got 2 examples for you. Stay. I designed this rod holder. It works pretty good, to be honest. Just a couple
That's actually a pretty good setup.
Pieces of wood with some holes in it, but she works. Okay. The tip fell off. So
you can buy a tip replacement. Those are cheap.
No, not the tip. I mean, like the first half of the rod.
Oh, the actual half of the rod. Gotcha.
It's in the rod holder.
Oh, hey, that works.
Okay, so this rod right here. This was a probably $30 combo. This is a Quantum Glacier XP.
Yep.
It's a 6'6" rod. Action medium. Weight 6 to 14, 2-piece. Okay, this rod, not the reel, but this rod was a Christmas gift that my dad got me and my brother, same combo, same year. I used to use this rod for everything on Champlain because this was one of the first combos he got me. This is an old Quantum reel. And I was using this for drop shotting. It's very, very soft. But I was landing 3 and 4 pounders with it.
Yep.
This rod, this is the Cabela's. God, the thing is old. This is a Cabela's Pro Guide IM6.
That's actually a good rod.
Yeah. Well, I got this in the bargain cave for $30, rod and reel.
Yeah.
And this is what I used last year to slay bass.
The first 5-pounder I ever caught was on a Hank Parker Lew's spinning rod that cost me $30.
Beautiful.
And that was spinning in reel and rod and reel combo. You know what I mean? So that's what I always try to do is I always try to tell people and that's actually, I'm actually going to be doing a video. I just haven't had the energy to do it. Is I want to talk about what the rod powers, not action. I don't even give a fuck about action. I don't need to complicate it with that. What the rod powers are and what they're used for. Because so many people are hyper concerned about what should I buy? And it's if you're
medium
the thing
heavy.
is I can't answer that question unless I know what you already own and what baits and where you fish. Because medium, again, like you said though,
medium heavy
if you want a rod to go fishing tomorrow without knowing anything about you, medium heavy. Medium heavy rod. Now, that being said, we're talking casting. If you're talking spinning, medium. Because a medium heavy spinning rod is kind of a weird
beefy.
rod.
She's beefy.
You're catfishing with that thing. You don't need a medium heavy for bass.
I have plenty of medium heavy spinning rods that are my popper and frog rods.
See, and that's the thing. You get that's what's cool though, is if you get a decent medium or medium heavy spinning rod, you can fish crankbaits, you can fish you're not gonna throw 6XDs on it, but you could throw a regular square bill. You could throw a lipless. Shots. You could drop shot with it. You could throw a wacky rig. You could Texas rig with it if you wanted. I wouldn't punch with it. Yeah.
No, don't punch. I don't punch. I don't like punching. It's not something I enjoy doing at all.
But you could do all of that with a $50 rod you buy at Walmart, and that's rod reel combined.
100%.
And mono line. Big Berkeley big game, you're fine.
Yeah, Berkeley big game is beautiful.
So, and it's going to cost you $20 for 1,000-yard spool.
Throw it out. You're gonna have it for the first 5 years of your fishing. Just throw it out when you're done with it. Just
you don't even care at that point. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. Is I try to bring that up because I hate when people Alex Rudd's a perfect example. If you actually follow him and you actually watch his videos, he is selling product, but the way he does it is not natural. You have to use this lose. Nope. John from Creek Fishing Adventures is the same way.
Yeah, I know
that dude's selling kayaks not because he's oh, my Crescent Shoaly is the best kayak ever. It's because he's here, watch my video as I drag this thing across concrete, rocks, drop it off a ledge, and then I jump into it, and then we go fishing. Yep. He doesn't have to say a word about it. And it's the same thing these guys that make these baits, they talk about it like Alex Rudd has probably sold more fucking Berkeley money badgers
or slobber
than
knockers.
Berkeley could ever fucking do themselves.
Yeah,
And he
period.
never once said you need to buy this bait. He just
Nope.
catches a fish, holds up the fish, and goes, "Here's the bait."
Yep.
Throws the fish back.
Yep.
That's all you need. And that's what I try to make my channel about is like, if I have a bait that, like, I will say the only bait I've ever really plugged specifically is the Kitech Easy Shiner Pro Blue Shiner, which people are so fucking sick of hearing on my channel. But the fact is,
so
that color, that Pro Blue Shiner, I don't know what it is about that specific color.
It's a natural color. It's
I
like,
can't mimic it, making it myself. I've tried 100 times and I
really?
cannot. I can't pour it. I cannot make it right. The blue always comes out too blue instead of
blue.
yeah, like
Blue.
like I can't make it like that weird matte slate blue that they have.
Yeah, it's more of a
And
gray.
I can't replicate it, so I buy those. I pour
Yeah.
all the other colors. I basically pour myself.
Yeah.
But I literally, my wife the other day, like I literally texted her and said, "Hey, have you gone?" She was gonna go shopping. I was like, "Have you gone shopping yet?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "Hey, Dick's Sporting Goods, Kitech, 4-inch Pro Blue Shiner, buy
Yeah.
all they have because I realized I'm almost out." Like that's the bait that I will always talk about because I've caught everything from 40-inch pike to 5 to 7 pound largemouth to trout. I caught a fucking brown, like
I mean,
rainbow, like everything.
Yeah, if you think about it, a minnow, any type of little
Absolutely.
shiner minnow thing, in any saltwater, freshwater,
Yep.
is the easiest, most basic form of food for any predator.
Yep.
So if you were like, what do I buy? Anything that looks like that, a shiner. The
Yep.
deal, Z-Man's the deal color, that's the one that I use the most for that. Today was the midnight oil or the motor oil, whatever. It's like,
yep.
The way that the glitter or whatever in that stained water, again, drives those pickerel nuts. But those are like the two colors that I buy it in. That's all I need.
Yep.
Those two colors. Like,
yeah, people overcomplicate it. I think when you're starting out, the biggest thing about starting out is like buy a Senko. If you're starting the bass fish, buy a Senko and buy a small 3-inch swim bait, 3 to 4-inch swim bait.
Buy a chatterbait and buy. Depends on where you're fishing. Buy a chatterbait and Ned rig, or bottom bait.
See, and that's no, right there though. That's the exact reason why though. So that's actually something I was going to bring up earlier. Is like, so we go to the same body of water, right?
Mm-hmm.
We come up to the same tree.
Right. Okay. Well, wait a minute. Let's do this.
What's fucked up about fishing?
Okay.
Is that I'm going to look at this tree and I'm going to think this bait is it, and you're going to look at that tree and you're going to go that bait is it. And what's fucked up is 9 out of 10 times I could take and catch a fish, and if somehow we could reset time and put everything exactly the same scenario, and then have you cast in there with your bait, you're going to catch a fish. Yep. But if I use your bait, I'm not going to catch shit.
You're not
and
confident.
If you use my bait, you're not going to, like, the confidence, I swear to God, and it's a weird, like, juju thing that I keep saying on live. People are going to think I'm nuts, but your confidence transfers down that line to that bait.
Well, okay.
There's something about how you work that bait because you have confidence in it that is different, that makes you catch more fish with it.
Think about it this way. Okay, so I play shortstop. Shortstop is like where 90% of the balls are hit. Let's say I'm playing second base, right? Every time I'm gonna go through the process right here. Okay, so I'm getting ready. There's, we just started the inning. Pitcher's getting ready to pitch the ball. Obviously, I'm going to first base. Okay, cool. If the ball is, this way, I'm backhanding it, I'm throwing it, grounding it, whatever. Girl hits the ball to shortstop. She's safe. So now we've got a runner on first. Pitcher's getting ready to pitch the ball. Okay, what am I doing? If it's ground ball, I'm going to tag her, attempt to tag her. If that doesn't work, throw it to second. If I mess up, just get it to first as fast as possible. Okay, so say this girl gets to second, and the runner got out at first. Okay, so then what am I doing? But it's like every single pitch.
Yep.
If you're thinking, I'm going to get this ball and I'm going to fuck up, you're going to fuck up. Yep. So every pitch for me, I'm like, my coaches used to be like, who wants the out? And I was always like, me. because I was super confident. Like
Yeah.
I practice hard. I know what I'm doing, and I have no problem being the one to make the plays. Not in like a ball
Yep.
hog kind of sense, but I knew there were some girls that were timid or shy or insecure, and like you can't play that way. So like you're going through. Okay, if this ball gets grounded to me, I have to check her at 2. I have to hold her there, and then throw to first and get this girl out so that she doesn't advance. If she takes off to 3, I'm throwing 3. I don't give a fuck about the girl on first. She's the lead runner. So
Yep.
you got to think about that way. But every pitch, you're taking your 2 steps, you're getting in position, you're okay, the ball's gonna come to me this way. If the ball pops up, like what am I gonna do? If the ball goes foul, what am I gonna do? Like you need to prepare yourself. It's the same way in fishing.
Yep.
But
That's
if you're
true.
not confident about it, then you're not gonna catch fish. So
Yep.
like today, the 3 things that I put on 2 different spinner baits, 2 different inline spinners. I threw on the chatter bait and I threw on the swim bait. I
Yep.
caught fish on every single one. I only caught the one that took my fish grip on the fucking chatter bait. But I was confident. Okay, I know that this gold works. I caught 2 fish on it, but then I was like, let's try this. Then I got more confidence in the swim bait. So then I'm going back and forth and
Yep.
confident in it. Then I'm like, you know what? The sun kind of went away. It's a little cloudy. I'm going to throw the chatterbait and see what happens. Boom, catch a 19-incher. Like, it's all about confidence in what you're doing. And then the more fish that you're catching is just building that confidence. And it's just more tools in your arsenal. What are you responding to over here?
So my wife did this. So the backstory behind this comment is that me and my wife literally met because she played on the co-ed softball team that I ran.
Oh, what position did she play?
She was actually the catcher on the team.
Why do fucking men do that?
No, she wanted to be the catcher.
Oh, okay, good.
No,
I was
that's
the
what
second.
She wanted to play.
I played second base in the co-ed league, and I had 2 guys swipe my leg as I was making a double play. I got them out, and they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" I'm like, "Fuck you."
To be honest, in that league, I wouldn't put an unskilled player at catcher.
Oh no,
because like a lot of people hide their unskilled players at catcher in that league. There's a lot of like men that would just literally take a player out. Like they wouldn't hesitate to just like body a female and knock her on her ass.
Well, that's what they did to me.
You needed a player that was going to set their feet and knock you on your ass if you try to come at them. Yeah. So
that's what I did at second base, and I got him out both times. I was like, "Fuck you."
So keep in mind how I trained her at catcher, which you'll appreciate.
Oh boy, no.
I made my son.
Oh no.
And he wasn't very old at this point. Run home to teach her to basically make the play with like a pressure situation. I made my son run at her while I literally crow hopped from halfway down third base and threw it at her so that she would like be able to like pick those balls because like you played like that play at home is never a clean throw. It's always the most fucked up angle or a weird hop. There's always like the guy is always trying to like the person that's throwing the ball home is always putting too much on it because it's a run.
They're far away or it's home.
There's always some pressure situation to it.
My biggest pet peeve is the all-girls softball team that I'm on now. We have like 3 or 4 girls that like very sweet girls. I hope to God they're not watching this. I doubt they are. They can't catch. Like they're not made for the position. Like I can't make plays at home. Like, we can't make plays at home plate. How the fuck are you supposed to defend the score when you literally can't? Let's go to the biggest. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But like they're too timid. They're not good enough. Like no offense, but they're not good enough. They don't even care either. Like they don't care. And that it hurts my heart so much because like I care. I fucking and it's like I can't even bases loaded ground ball to me throw home because the girl will not catch it and have her foot on the base. How are you ever going to win when you have a bad catcher? Like the rules for slow pitch are different. You can't steal, you can't bunt. So like that helps, but it's still like it's really it's really frustrating.
Before my wife joined the team, the pitcher used to go literally body the catcher out of the way to make the play at home. And
we had to do that the first couple of years, but it never worked out.
Or first base would sneak in behind and like make the play. Yeah.
The frustrating thing is like the girls that the girls that we run through, they're like cousins to like the coach's daughter. Like it's all in the family type thing. They like being on the team. They like coming to the games. They want to contribute, but they don't really care. Like they played in high school. Now they're moving. Like it's like I get so fucking frustrated because it's our biggest Achilles heel.
Yep.
Like our fielding is pretty decent, but if we did get a catcher that did good, those 4 players would be on the bench, and that sucks. It does. Part of me is like, it's part of the game, but part of me is like, put them in right field. No one ever hits there. Like, but it's not my place to. I'm not the coach. It's not my place. Right. So like, I just do my best, but my best is now interrupted because I can't make the natural plays that I would be making, and we're losing all of our games because we can't make plays at home, and everybody knows it. Like, we could have a girl hit a grounder, and I would throw it to first and then call out, and then the girl from third would start
tearing towards home because she knows
going towards home, and we can't even throw it there. Like, it's really frustrating, especially when it's like a forced play. And I'm like, literally, I'm just gonna lob this to you. These are the girls that don't even throw to warm up. I'm just gonna lob it to you. All you gotta do is catch it. Put your foot on the plate and catch it with 2 hands. I get real mad.
I see.
It's basics. It's basic ball playing. And so the team that I play for, we're called the Gamblers, and the color of that team is literally the color I got the bus painted. Like, I took our jersey and was like, here you go. We were the number 1 team when I came on. Like, we won the first 2 years that I was playing. Easy. And then the 3rd year was a little bit harder. And then the 4th year we lost, which was like the first time in like 10 years. So it was almost like they dethroned us. But what happened also is we had like 5 of our like oldest players start to quit, to leave, to retire. Like, they were too old. And now you've got young girls coming in, but not all of them are up to par.
Yeah.
And that's sports for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Honestly, I can loop this back into fishing though. The point is,
let's do it.
The point is though, this is where people overcomplicate fishing. It's the same thing as those catchers. Like, that person doesn't have the skill in that position. It's the same thing with baits. Sometimes people think they need to force a jerk bait that they're not as good at fishing, or they need to force a certain bait into a certain situation because that's what the guy on YouTube told them that is what they're supposed to use. So they use that bait. At the same time, you'd be surprised how many situations that I've been in where I fished the wrong fucking bait. There is no wrong bait. Is the point? My point is like,
that's true.
Don't try to put something in a position that it shouldn't be in because you think you're supposed to. Like, you can throw your confidence bait all year long. I can tell you right now, there is no bait that is not going to work during a certain season or not going to work in a certain condition. Is another bait going to work better? Absolutely. There is certain baits that will work better depending on the conditions. But if you have confidence in a bait and you've caught fish on it in an area, use that bait. You know what I mean? And that's one of the biggest things I can say about it is like, don't, just because the textbook says you're supposed to do something, don't follow the fucking textbook. Because guess what? The bass didn't read the textbook and they don't know that they're supposed to eat that bait.
No.
So
also, everybody... What? Where are we gonna wrap it up?
We can keep not. You gotta drive home still.
I gotta drive home still. I was just gonna say, everybody wish my wife a safe night because she's on shift right now. That's why I was texting, because she's going to bed, and I always like say the same thing before bed. So I was like, I have to get this in there.
Oh no, yeah, you're good.
Yeah. So
you know what we should do actually?
God.
Just stupid content idea.
Okay.
We should like literally film like a batting practice when you come up here. There's a ball field like 20 minutes from my house.
Let's do. Did my phone just fall? Yes, but yes, let's fucking do it.
Just for that, we could call like Bats and Bass or something, and like.
Oh my god, do batting practice and then go.
Literally do batting. Like, whoever wins batting practice like gets to do something different for like the other has to use the other person's baits or something like that. We'll have to do something.
I'm down.
Like that.
Oh yeah, that sounds really cool. On top of the other video idea that we're doing, 100%.
Oh, there's that one.
I'm so ready.
We gotta figure out the logistics of that.
But... I'm so ready. Well, we just need like a support boat Like
I have the
vessel.
boat. I just need someone that can drive the boat, or I drive the boat, and that's the whole thing.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's the catch. Is I need someone that can actually navigate the boat, because you kind of need
Woo!
someone that's somewhat skilled to be able to play recovery. I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want to
That's
give it away.
true. That's
But
that's true. Don't give it away. Don't give it away. Ugh.
yeah,
Well, to your wife, hi, love you. Thank you for being here. Um, I'm glad that you could hold your own in the softball field. That's good.
yeah, it's a whole thing. Like that whole team was really weird because, to be honest, we didn't win that many games because
Yeah.
that's a league where there's a lot of guys that are trying to relive their glory days,
Oh yeah, they just want to
and
like hit
they take it
bombs
so
all fucking day,
fucking
and they
seriously. And I
act like they're
that's
good.
honestly why that 2020 year is really what
Hmm.
killed that's what started my major fishing push, because
Oh yeah.
we couldn't play, because the place that we
Ah.
played was a campground that let us use their ball field.
Oh damn.
And
Wow.
because of the way the rules were, we couldn't play there because it affected the occupancy limit
Yeah,
of the
that'll do it.
campground. So it canceled the season basically. So
Oh
then I
wow.
started fishing more. But like what I realized is, and that's kind of spinning this back into fishing, is that's when I realized that I like fishing more than softball. And
Hmm.
keep in mind, I had all the I mean, I literally had freaking thousands of dollars worth of bats, and
Hmm.
I still literally have on it. I have a bag that's ready for an emergency softball game at any moment. Like at this
He
point,
haven't
still,
played. Hasn't played
yeah,
in like 7 years, but
I
he's got
haven't
all the
played in
stuff.
like 2 or 3 years. But the thing about fishing is that, and it sounds really backwards, but like you can only get so good at softball. There's
That's
a limit.
true.
There's a limit. You can only catch so good. You can only throw so good. You
So
can only
good.
learn how to place hit so well.
Up,
At the end
up,
of the
so
day, there's a
good.
limit to like getting to that point, especially as you get older. You get
Oh my
worse. I don't
god.
care who the fuck thinks they're getting better. They're not. Whereas
No, I've hit the
fishing,
point.
I
Yeah.
can get better at fishing every day, because every single day, it's not just the bait, it's not just the line, it's not
Right.
just the it's I have to take into account the fucking barometric pressure, the wind speed, the current, the water clarity, the time of year. There's 1,000 things that go into that equation for that cast. And then the next cast could be entirely different because the wind picked up, or it dropped, or it got
Right.
cloudy. Like the fishing is an ADD person's wet dream, because you
That's
could
true.
never conquer it. So you can't get bored with it, which is something that's a side effect of having ADHD, is that you get passionate about something and then you get sick of it. You can't really get sick of fishing, because every single day, every single hour, the conditions can be different and things can change for you.
Yeah, I was waiting for that eclipse to really black everything out, and it did not.
It didn't do shit,
Nope, didn't
really. I
do
mean, it
nothing.
got a little dark, but
That was, I told you, I took lunch then. I was like, okay, I'll
yeah.
take lunch and whatever. And that's when I caught
It looked
that
cool,
fish on a
but
chatterbait. I didn't look at it. I was like, do not look at
yeah.
the sun.
Who did you see? I don't know if you saw it. You probably don't follow him. So Justin Hamler, the guy that won the classic,
Mm.
so he made a joke. He put an Instagram reel up. He had like 8 pairs of sunglasses on, because he's practicing for the next Elite Series event.
Oh god.
He's down in Florida. So he's like he like pulls them down, and there's like fucking 8 pairs of. I'm sure it's like his sponsored sunglass company,
Right.
but he like looks up and he goes, "Nope, still don't work," and then like
That's
goes
funny.
back to fishing.
That's
I don't
smart.
even know if the eclipse was going on, but I was like, that's a perfect example of like product placement. Like
Yeah,
he's
perfect.
selling sunglasses
In a
because
funny
he's got
way that's
eight
natural.
pairs on. That's natural.
Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, that's dope. Oh, okay.
Probably
I have to
leave with
finish my
that one.
homework. No, homework.
Yeah, she's doing nursing school. She's going to, I
My
forget what
wife wants
level.
my wife wants to do nursing school. Do you have any advice? Here's okay. Before you go, don't go. Did she go?
She's probably gone, but yeah. Message her on Instagram. I don't know if she has Instagram.
No, here's my only thing is my wife is a firefighter full time. And now she's like, I think I also want to do nursing. I'm like, when are you gonna have time to like relax, live a little? Like, those are two very demanding, physically and mentally, like
Yep.
jobs. So like part of me, like I support her, but the other part of me is worried because it's like I don't, I don't want it to affect you in certain ways. So there's like a fun little.
You should encourage it.
Oh, I encourage it. It
No,
worries
you
me.
should really encourage it because if she became a traveling nurse, then
Yes,
she
I
could ride
know.
around in the bus with
I know.
you,
Blah 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 blah.
and then you guys could have your goals could meet with her goals because then she could travel to places and you could go fish there in the bus.
She can only travel for 3 days, and then she still has to work full time as a firefighter.
Not if she gets passionate about nursing and quits
She
firefighting because she
will
loves
not.
nursing so much.
She will not.
I'm
That's
putting it out.
funny.
I'm putting it out into the universe. So that
I'm not telling her you said that.
yeah. Well, good. It's 2 hours and 14 minutes into the episode. She probably won't get that far if she does watch it. So.
No, I don't think she watches them. I don't think she listens to mine either.
I think
That's
you're just
okay.
trying to beat the time from the last one. I think that's you're looking up at that
How long
timer.
was the last one?
It was like 3 hours.
No. Unless I switch to wireless headphones and I start driving. But no, that's okay.
No. But moral of the story, guys, is we probably should wrap this up. I literally said to my wife, this isn't going to be a 3-hour live stream. And I'm like, well, 2 hours and 15 minutes is
Listen, if you get me at like 6 o'clock, I could go till much later.
That's the funny part is like this conversation that we had is like basically what happens on Instagram. It's just in text form. It's pretty much the same conversation.
I do want to dive more into like content creating type stuff. But we'll definitely do a podcast on filming.
What I want to do is I got a couple other people that do it. I really want to do like a round table. Like I was trying to do that one with the American Angler and have like, because there's so much cool stuff that like everybody has their own little tips and tricks that they do. And if you don't do it, you don't understand like the little things you figure. Like this thing I bought actually.
Little light.
Cold shoe mount.
Yep.
So I can mount it on my like mount that I have for my camera.
Like on the side, right?
And then I can literally and it's LED, so I can change the color of it. So I can actually use it to film at night.
Beautiful.
No one else gives a shit about that thing, but that's because they don't appreciate the fact that GoPros or action cameras in general
are so bad.
Suck at dire. Like low light, they are awful. That fisheye is not designed for low light.
Yeah, as soon as like it even thinks about the darkness, it's like grainy and terrible.
Yeah,
really
it starts
bad.
to get like DJI does have a mode where it starts stripping color, so like it makes it more like IR kind of like look to it, like where it's like a night vision. And you can go later with the DJI, but you can't see. Like if you're talking to it, it's just like my silhouette, and I don't have a pretty silhouette. So it's just a blob with a head talking at you in the dark.
Oh, that's funny.
So like it doesn't really work effectively. So that's why I bought that. But stuff like that you buy, like the fucking umbrella thing, I sent you that, didn't I? They make a cold shoe mount umbrella.
Wait, yes. For the camera?
Yeah. So like your GoPro, you could literally slide that in the top of the media mod and then open it up, and then your like camera doesn't get rain on it.
And just so you all know, all you hear
no one in here gives a shit about that, but anybody who's had to sit there and wipe a screen with their like slightly less wet sleeve.
Yeah. Slimy.
So that the fucking camera isn't blurry.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciates that little umbrella. So we definitely need to do that. And honestly, she doesn't know this yet, but she's going to get everything done and everything's going to work out perfectly. And in May, she's going to come up here and we're going to figure out how to contact collab.
To be honest, that is like the only thing that I'm holding on to right now. There's so many things in my life that are. My life is kicking my ass. Hold on. Everybody decide if she wants is to take advantage of what time self-care is possible when she can. Thank you. That's what I try to tell her. She does not listen to me. No, actually, what's super cool is Soraya actually is she joined a softball team this year, and she might get back into ice hockey. She used to play ice hockey on a firefighter league, which is really cool. And rock climbing, we're trying to do more of. So I'm trying to incorporate her to do more of the things that she likes. She just was never allowed. So, like, she's been working since, like, 12. Probably even younger than that. She doesn't really know the fun stuff. And I No, the fun stuff. I don't really care about work. So we have the opposite situation,
Yeah.
brainwave. So I'm just trying to get us like both on the
Yeah.
same. That's all I'm trying to
Well,
do.
and that's the advantage, though. Is like again, though, like from the content side, your channel, you could just film that.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
It all fits into your genre because your
Yeah.
genre is just you. Like your like channel isn't like the fishing channel. It is the
Nope.
follow my life channel.
Adventures. Life is an adventure. Every day is an adventure. That's what we do. So no matter what it is, if today it's, you know what, my kayak for some reason is taking on water and I need to fix it. Okay, that's that day's adventure. Or you know what, the stupid bolt situation for my GoPro isn't working right. Okay, so like that's an adventure. Or like, you know what, we don't have toilet paper in the house. That's an adventure. No, there'll be more epic stuff. But yeah, right now the adventure of life is kicking my ass, is what I was saying before. I got a lot of strikes against me, but this bus is like the biggest silver lining, and like it couldn't be happening at a better time. So it's definitely happening, and we're definitely getting together, and I'm going to be doing some traveling in this thing, and I can't wait.
It's gonna happen regardless, because even if you don't get the bus ready, I'll just fucking drive down to Jersey.
If I don't get the bus ready, I still have a car, and I still have all the other equipment that I would need.
And honestly, I was talking to my boy Maine, and like who's doing a podcast right now as well. There's a lot of lakes like halfway too. There's like a lot of New York lakes that like
oh dude,
upstate New York lakes that we could like that are about 2-3 hours between us that we could like. I mean, fuck, the Finger Lakes probably aren't even that far from you, depending on where you're at. But
dude, that was gonna be a big one this year, but I don't know if I'll be able to get there.
Oh, next year. There's gonna be some plans. You can't get rid of me now. You're stuck with me now at this point. So
I just will tell you when to shut up and when not to shut up, and that's totally acceptable.
there's been some plans. One of the things I want to do is because I went to Cayuga with the bass boat.
Oh, sweet.
And there's a campground right on Cayuga, like a state park. And if you're there, you're about an hour from a lot of the other Finger Lakes. So I want to do like a week. One of my goals is to have like a content creator like camping trip
gathering. That would be
and really get a bunch of people that create content in the same campground and just film the whole fucking thing. Like just there's just gonna be cameras everywhere.
Yeah, there's some sort of camaraderie about it. So like when I'm with family and I like pull the camera out, like sometimes they're like, and other times they don't care because they know that it's me, but other times they're like, oh. And then like it makes the whole thing awkward because I might be talking to the camera, but you see like my aunt in the background who's like, oh.
And anybody who watched my ice fishing content, that is the difference between having a collaborator with you and not. Is if you actually watch my video, you'll notice that there's a lot of like third person camera. That's because you're literally fishing and your buddy catches a fish and all of a sudden you're like, literally. Like you drop your fucking rod, throw it, and you want to get that shot for your friend because you look up and your friend's there in your face with a camera. Like when you do content creation, they understand the value of a different angle because sometimes a different angle makes the difference in a video. So when you do it, 100%. So like my thought is if I can get like 5 content creators in one campsite and just like the goal would be to do that combined with like just not only the fishing, but like try to do a podcast too. Like literally recorded podcast with everybody there, just hanging out, telling fishing stories, content stories. Like I want to try to put that together. It's just every time I've tried to do it, it's always been like
schedules are tough. Like I'm only working part fucking time, and schedules are tough. If I had the money, the funds to just be free, it wouldn't fucking matter. But not everybody has that luxury. It is the luxury.
Yep. I just decided I'm gonna win the Powerball, and then I'm just gonna travel the country and fish.
You're gonna win, and then you're gonna give me some of the money so I can also travel and fish.
that honestly is what I hate travel. That's the funniest thing about it is like me and you are the polar opposites in that world. Is like I fucking hate traveling.
Here's the hardest part. Well, I can fall asleep in any moving vehicle, but now I have to be the driver of the moving vehicle. So let's not jump, let's not count our chickens before they hatch because I don't know if I'm gonna be like okay or not. I might just be like I need
Yeah.
to train my dog how to drive or something.
Something. Get
Something.
that Tesla autopilot or something.
I
But
don't
that's
even have
killing.
I don't even have cruise control. And
That's right, because it's
I
diesel. Right.
love cruise control.
Yeah.
I just let my legs just fully extend and I just hit cruise control and I'm just like,
I do that in my truck all the time.
it's so nice.
I do it
It's
when
so
it's
nice.
I do it not even like in the situation you should be doing it. Like
Oh,
I'll do it like
100%.
in places where I'm just like, oh, it's a 30 and it's only a mile, but I'm like, I don't want to pull the predator pedal full 30.
Sometimes
Cruise control.
like my knee hurts, my ankle hurts. Sometimes I'm just lazy, and other times I'm just like. Here's the other thing too: is I find now that I'm older, I'm inconsistent with the pressure on the foot pedal on the gas. So
Yep.
like I'll be doing the speed limit, and the next thing I know, I'm like 5 under, and I'm watching people
Yep.
pass me, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, well, you're not doing the speed limit. So
We
I'll just
also
put it.
live in the land of road rage, so that doesn't
I
help you.
do, I do. I had a very. I was putting my kayak on my car I had my hazards on. I had an old lady slow down and she was like, "Is everything okay?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good. I just gotta put my kayak on my gosh." She was like, "Okay." And this asshole, like 18-year-old kid just vroom right by her. I was like, "You're a
Yep.
dick."
Yep.
Like why, dude? Like just
Yep.
the lady was asking me if I'm okay, whatever. And also she wasn't pulling over to stop. Like she was slowing down and he crossed her on a double line. And I was just like, "Oh God, this is so bad. This is bad." Like
But as a content creator, you're also like, damn, I didn't get that on camera.
I was also like that.
So
It's
that's
so
the difference.
my hat cam died and I had brought a battery pack with a plug and for some reason I guess it just stopped charging
Yeah.
it. I don't like wearing the life jacket. It rubs right here so much when I'm fishing.
Do you have an
And
auto inflate or do you have a regular one?
no, I have like the kayak regular one. It was like $30. To be honest, I just started wearing it this year because I really don't wear them, but I'm going to be going to places where I don't fucking know where I am. And if I'm in the middle of the lake, I want to make sure I'm safe. But it changes the posture and how I cast and how I angle my rod. And I was just like, I'm so uncomfortable in this thing. So,
I'll send you a link.
okay, sweet.
The auto
Thanks.
inflate's like tiny,
Oh, yeah.
and it
The
just
belt,
sits.
the belt one or the one that just is
No, it's
slim?
just it's literally like a little bit around your neck, but
Like a U.
it's like that thick, and it just goes down,
Okay. Yeah,
and
that
it's a
might have to
lot more
be.
comfortable. It's you want to get an auto inflate, not a manual inflate. That's the mistake people
Yeah.
make because if you
Yeah.
hit the water, and I'll tell you they work, and I'll end the entire video on this and see if you guys can find the video that this story is in. I know they work because I had one in my boat that I wasn't wearing that went off because I didn't put the plug in my boat. So we're gonna end the video right here, guys.
Perfect. Perfect.
And if you guys want to find that video, let me know and put it in the comments below. But we're gonna have Janelle back for sure. We're
Yeah.
gonna have lots of content coming up, and I'm gonna end this one right about now.